G'day, citizens. Welcome to the Inforunners. I've got to turn on my lights. My bad. I'm Execute, joined today by Old Man Hurston himself. Say I did you, Algared there for a second. And Piggles.
Yeah.
How you doing?
The voice in the void.
Yeah. Did the laundry? Did you get the laundry put up, Algared? But that's why we're late. We're 10 minutes late because Algared was using the washboard instead of the washing machine. I don't know why you don't just get a washing machine. Why do you insist on using the washboard?
No, because I had to bring the laundry in and hang it up because it started raining. So no joys. From being a 31-degree day today to raining.
Right.
God has a sense of humor. That's all I'll say.
Good to have you back, Piggles. How have you been? You had a good year?
No, awful year actually.
Okay, hopefully we can change that today and make it a bit better for you. What, just keeping you down? Work keeping you down? Life? What, just a bit of everything?
No, well, you see, I've had to play this game called STAR-JM.
Oh, right.
And it's just ruined it, yeah.
I thought the reason it's been a bad year is you haven't been able to hang out with us.
Oh.
You know, like
I've been looking forward to it.
Speaking of hanging out, look who turned up. The namesake from the thumbnail today, Mr. Jax.
the Kilrathi.
The Kilrathi cat. He's turned up, giving me a big purr. He's just had his breakfast. Always come in to say hello for a pat. But anyway, I'll give him a pat and he'll nick off in a bit. Right, what are we going over today? Well, there's a fair bit to go over today, actually. A lot of drama, as usual. I don't get it myself personally, but the Twitch drop thing has kind of set a few people off. I don't really mind one way or the other. It's promotion for the game. Shouldn't we all want the game to succeed? I don't think it really matters if it's Twitch or YouTube. YouTube doesn't really have a system for drops.
Which is probably why they're not doing it.
Yes, you think right.
You know, you can't put drops if the thing doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Provide the option for it.
Yeah, that's it. So you know, so that's basically how it is. I can switch it over and we can have a look at the armor though. It looks pretty nice. It's clearly a modified. Excuse me, Jax. Clearly a modified version of the concierge one and the pirate one. I think they've done like a weathered look. I don't know, and then added a few colors. That's what I get out of it, don't you, Algared?
The helmet's very Mandalorian in feel.
Yeah, it is.
That's what I get when I look at that helmet.
It needs a cape. This is what you're saying, Algared. He needs a cape. Yeah, I'd agree. Actually, it would look better with the cape. Yeah, got a backpack in it as well. It seems to be more of a medium size too, not a light like the others. So it's definitely different. It's telling you how to link your Twitch account, which is pretty easy. I've done that already. I've got the Twitch drops enabled, so when we do the AIE stuff, you can, if you're watching on Twitch, you can get it. But man, there's so many Twitch people out there. I do know I talked to Grim today. He's planning on doing Twitch streams as well, so you can at least go out there and your regular person and get it. So I don't think it'll be a problem. And I'm going to be honest, if you haven't got it and it's about to run out, I'd literally stream nothing so you could get it. So just reach out and I'll do it for you.
We'll do something. We'll do something.
You can have I'll just put the camera on Jax and you can watch Jax for 4 hours. How about that?
Yeah.
We'll put a GoPro around his neck as he runs around the garden or something. Right. But I don't know, Piggles, what's your take on that? Don't really care one way or the other, or what's your thoughts?
I mean, I'm going to get the drop because, why wouldn't you free armor? No. But to be honest, I think it's fuck ugly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but Piggles only buys the most luxurious pristine ships like the Wolf and the 100i and real fancy sleek
I like
things.
sleek. It's I like sleek. I wouldn't say it's so much that as more of it just makes the guy look tubby as hell.
Did you just call him fat?
Like the character? Yeah.
He did say he's fat,
Yeah.
And look, got to cut you off very quickly, Pickles. 2 super chats from Go for Willie. One was to purchase laundry soap for me, and the other's to get a spare vest. So thank you, Go for Willie, for those super chats.
I don't think he needs another clown suit. He's goofy enough as it is.
Harsh. Rude. Rude, that's what I'll say. Rude.
Right. So
unfortunately, a spare suit vest is a bit more than $2.
Yeah. So these essentially go live. Where was it? How long was the current campaign? There you go. So it's from the November 20th in the up over to the December the 3rd. So that'll be the 21st to the 4th in the down under. Those of you that are watching. Right. Yes, we are late, Pete, but you were up late anyway. You should be in bed. It's well after. What time is it for you, Pickles, right now?
12:15.
Yeah, and he's complaining. Pete's complaining when he should be in bed. Right.
Well, unfortunately, Pete, had you been on YouTube, you'd have seen me tell people early that I had to go do the laundry at, because that's when it was supposedly finished.
So it's double Algared's fault for not telling people on Twitch. Right, check. Cool.
Yep. Well, the chat wasn't working, so.
We've also got this. They did a post about Arizon welcomes you. It's basically an FAQ on it. The most interesting part of this was some of the price changes and the waves, obviously. So we're going to have 6 waves each day. But it does go the following day. So it's actually for 2 days because each event is 2 days. Sorry, I read that wrong. So it's 3 waves a day for 2 days. Which is really interesting. It really does spread it out. And essentially, if you're kind of wanting to sleep, that would give you 4 chances. And if you didn't sleep, it would give you 6. Which is a lot. That's more than we've had in previous. But the ships going up in price are the Hull A, which really kind of surprised me. But the other 3, I think we all saw coming, which was the Hull B, the Raft, and the Raelian. The Raelian, you and I talked about that when he said the cargo's gone way up. That was really obvious for me.
Cargo's going way up, And look, I wouldn't be surprised if that's part of the reason the Hull B goes up. But the Hull A, that's a surprise. That's probably the biggest surprise. The Raft, I don't think doesn't surprise me after how good it was in the the supplies for state and all the race for Stanton and all that mission, because it was just an absolute beast.
It makes me think what it's going to go up to though as well, because it's currently like $90. So I think it's probably to bring it more in line with its cargo amount, because you look at something like the Spirit, right? Spirit's 125 and it only does 64. And I believe this does, double check. I'm going to just check it before I say something that's incorrect. Star Citizen. I'll be remembering this wrong. Hull A. What do we got? We 64. Okay, yeah, I was right. It's essentially the same as the Spirit. So that's my thought process, right? Like I start to look at something like that and think it maybe is. Do you think? Can you see it getting to that? I kind of can't, because you've also got the living facilities for 2 people on the Spirit. I don't know. What do you think? What, you thinking $10, $20, like 110 maybe?
I'd hope it doesn't go up too much. Like, I thought the Hull A's pricing was spot on where it was. So the fact that it's going up, for me, makes me feel a bit meh. The Hull B, I can understand it going up with with rework and a possible cargo increase. But yeah, at the most I'd see the Hull A going to Spirit pricing, but or around that. But yeah, it surprises me. That was the one, as I said, that surprised me.
Pickles, did you turn the bot on?
Yes.
Oh, but I didn't have to open the bot.
Yeah, it's because I'm doing it.
Oh, I can put full lays mode today.
Yeah.
But the Pickles hit on the bot.
We're not worthy.
I typed in stack managing. Me and Pickles were having an argument for the stream, right? So normally when I type the bot, it's start, and he wants to make it start monitoring.
Well, yeah, that's because the new bot can do more than one thing. So you got.
And he couldn't give me a single example of something that needed. You gave start giveaway, and I'm like, well, that could just be / giveaway. Or why can't
what do you want the giveaway to do?
Or why can't you make it start bot? Well, then it would be giveaway whatever. Because I'm not going to see the more holes you dig, the more silly you look. Anyway,
I will point out, by the way, Pickles, Non-Stop Bobs has noted the title.
Oh, really? He picked it up that quick. Wow. Yeah. So before the stream, for those of you who don't know what's going on with Algared and me, we essentially on YouTube we called it bots enabled, drops enabled, and then on Twitch I called it drops not enabled because I didn't want to confuse people. and Eagles thought no one would notice. And they've already noticed. It hasn't even been, it's been 10 minutes. That's how quick it looked. I said they'll notice. They always do.
So,
anyway.
Yeah, just saying, you know.
Yeah. So I don't know. This is the awkward one for me out of those four. I think all the others are justified. Like the raft, I could chuck another $20 on it, and I could see it going to like, the old whole B price at like 140, 145, and then obviously the whole B, with its cargo capacity. Let's just check that real quick. I'm remembering it at like 380 something, is what my brain's telling me, but I could be wrong.
My memory is higher than 64 and
384.
Hull C.
384. So my memory was roughly, I had 380 in my head. So it's 384. That's around about what the Raelian is now. So again, man, if this jumps to 220, holy shit. No way that goes to 220. Because that's also 4 people. So I'm gonna call $40 and go 180 on that one. What do you think?
Depends on what components I also give it, because I have said components always have an impact.
Do you think they're going to upgrade those from? Do you think they're going to upgrade those components though from the concept? Yeah, I don't think it is.
Your guess is as good as mine. The only thing I could say is the fact that the Raelian is a 4-person ship, and this is
2, I believe.
2, 1 to 2, I think. Or
yeah,
1
it does
to 3.
say, it says on the screen 1 to 2. So yeah.
So, that would make me think that this should be less than a Raelian because it has less crew.
Yeah, that's why I said 180 because the Raelian's currently 220, but obviously it's going to go up when it releases. So yeah, I'm around about the 180 mark on this. And then the Raelian itself, that's a really tricky one to kind of think about, but they will have the hologram in the hall. So I think that'll probably show off where they're aiming for with this thing now. And the cargo amount, and it could be quite a
and the other thing to consider with a Raelian is the fact that it is also alien tax. So not only is it larger cargo, but it's also got an alien ship.
That kind of shows you that alien tax right now, because this is 140 and that's 220, so that's an alien tax. Well, you got to take off the 2 extra people as well, so it's 2 extra people and an alien tax gives you $80. So let's say $60 more than in that case for the alien thing. I without knowing how much cargo it's going to turn out, I think that's a hard one to call. Piggles, did you want to weigh in on any of those at all? Your thoughts?
I mean, to be honest, I haven't thought about it whatsoever. I am disappointed to see the Hull A going up. I think it's in a pretty good place where it is.
I do too.
The others, the others going up. The problem is, they don't exist yet, so they could change, and the pricing could reflect what they may come to be, and we just don't know that. Yeah,
so I think the raft has gone up because of its popularity, and it just seems. I don't think the raft really needs to go up personally, because all you can do is cargo, where all the other ships that are around it at the same price, they do cargo not as much, but they do other shit as well. So I don't see specifically why the raft is going up. And also the raft doesn't need to be 2-person anymore. It's essentially changed its role. So the raft isn't like the raft is really good for now, and I think they're trying to capitalize on that, give us some more money thing. The whole B is smaller and sleeker, but I think that's gone up because of the reconcept.
The only other thing I'd want to mention is that I'd expect another increase when they go flight ready anyway, as all ships get.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the really scary thing about things like the whole B and the Raelian. Just how much is that Raelian going to go up in price? But we now know, pick up a $5 CCU for the Raelian. Just sit on it. Even if you don't want it yourself, you could turn around and sell it for a tiny profit. So yeah.
Yeah. The only reason I could see them increasing the Hull A, and I don't like it, is to try and keep the price jumps between the B, C, D, and E. And the scary thing is when you're trying to think of what the Hull B is going to go to. Remember what the Hull C jumped, how high it jumped, and how shocking that was.
About $150, wasn't it, from memory? Yeah.
And that gives the type of window we could see the whole B jump in terms of scale of its original price, you know.
Well, it makes me think if the Raelian is currently like, what would we classify that as, a large? It's a large ship, so on the small end, like a Connie. I think you'd have to consider, without it having to literally go to a capital, right? That would be essentially it's going from an S4 to an S5. So we're talking about it's becoming like an ironclad Carrick type size ship, Perseus size ship, because that's the size increase we're talking. One size up would be that. And you know, it currently, I believe it's currently 384 as well. Let me just double check. I'll bring everyone back. Hang on. I'm pretty sure it was, because I remember it being the same as the whole B. I could be remembering wrong, but let's see how my memory is faring these days. 320. It was close. Not exactly the same, but pretty close. So my point being, though, we basically said when it was at CitizenCon, or like we said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember I said, I think you agreed, was double is what I think of when they say way up. At least, at minimum. So that's like 640. There's not many ships in that range, and I actually think that might be why they've increased it that size, because they need more. Like so to put it in perspective, a Caterpillar's 596, a Hercules is like 672 from memory. So we're talking ships like that. But I'm actually starting to think now they need something between that and the Ironclad, because the Ironclad's like, what, 1,500? So we need things around about 1,000. Am I wrong in that thinking? From you're more into the stats than I am, but
the problem is, like, we've got lots of, well, feels like we've got lots of ships with that small amount, but not many ships with that mid range, and so you do want, you know, mid range and up. There seems to be a dearth.
Well, see if you again, if I go to the Ironclad, right? There's a gap between. I remember looking at this a while back. There's a gap between the Ironclad. Wait, it didn't go. It went to Iron. It didn't go to Ironclad. Ironclad, right? 1,500, as I said, right? So there's a gap from what I remember around about the 1,000 mark, and so even if you tripled it and made it like what 9, what does that make that, like 940 or something like that? That is where I think they're possibly looking at now I've had time to think on it, because again, it would be a little smaller than Ironclad, but we'll have to wait and see at CitizenCon. I think once we see it at CitizenCon, we'll get an idea roughly of what they're aiming for.
And a couple of thoughts coming through the chat on Twitch, you know, like, depending on how much the Rael's cargo increases, the price could go anywhere. You know, so
well, I would not expect it to go past the Ironclad, right? I'll just put that out there right now. I would say you're looking at $100 maybe, so 320 maybe, right? They don't want to do anything too drastic, and I would also think about what they did with the Banu Merchantman. That thing crept up over multiple sales. It took like 3 or 4 sales for it to go from 250 to 650.
And that'll go, and I don't think it's finished growing in price.
No, well, it's got a release, obviously, so yeah.
You know, so,
But from what I remember, though, they put it up like 450 and then 550 and then 650 from memory. So it did jump by.
It has also.
Go ahead, Pickles.
It has also significantly grown as well. I mean, it's you see it recently; it's fucking massive.
Yeah. But that initial jump was like $200. So that's the biggest jump I can ever remember, was a $200 jump. But, I'd have to go back and have a look. But Bobs, if you want to jump in and say hello, Bobs, you're more than welcome to. By the way, as always.
You know the routine. You'll just pop in
and we'll slap you around and then send you on your way. Right.
Yep. So Sten Kira did make a point on YouTube that the Drake Ox may be a reason why the Hull A is going up, because they want to put the Ox in around that price. You know, I'm assuming they're suggesting that the Ox goes
make it fairer.
That price point.
Okay. So, because I really look at the I look at it, right, and for me, you've got the MPUV, what, $40? the Ox comes out at the same price as the Golem at $60. That's fine. Then you've got 40, 60, and 90. I've got no problem with that. Yeah, I don't know. Pickles, I know you're not like a big price guy, right? But does that kind of line up for you in your head, like MPUV, Golomox, and I don't see why the whole A needs to go up. I'm a bit confused.
I don't understand it either.
I think the only reason you'd want to move it up is if you're planning on pricing a slightly lower range ship, kind of in that or close to that price range. By lower range, I mean sort of slightly lower capability, a little bit less cargo space. In that price range, you're trying to soften the blow a little bit. I don't know. It strikes me as odd. I think is the best way to describe it.
Yeah, it's a little odd.
And as Robert Vols says, the MPUV shouldn't be 40. It should be the price of an Aurora ES. It's got no jump drive and it's got no quantum drive.
So that explains the $20 difference in my book. They roughly carry the same. They've got the same kind of skills. Also, you get the multi-use nature of the MPUV, right? You can carry personnel on it. You can carry cargo, and the tractor beam. I don't know. $20 sounds about right for me with not having a jump drive, Algared.
But the MPUV, no jump drive or quantum drive.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing. It's literally tied to just local space. And because it's got no quantum drive, it doesn't really have its ability to set targets and navigate. So you're going by sight. And that's not necessarily ideal. Now, it literally is just an A to B ship when you know where you're going. So look, I agree. I don't think it should be that high. And having said that, I don't think the P52 or 72 should be at their price point because again, they're gutted in terms of what they can do in terms of navigation or that, and yet we give every fighter and every small ship a jump that's got a quantum drive, a jump drive, but we don't give these ships even a quantum drive, and I think that sucks.
Something I do want to show, right, that and there's two things I want to talk about here, right? Is the first is the image itself, right? So this is the sneak peek for this week. Clearly it's a Drake engine. Clearly it's most likely the Clipper because of that yellow fin. Now I know a few of you may have picked up on this, a few of you may have not, but if you go and look at the Corsair now, it actually has yellow fins up the back of the Corsair. So that tells me that this is the Clipper, right? It also tells me more than likely we've been looking at the Clipper for 3 weeks. So yeah. But we're only getting 2 new ships this sale, and that kind of scares me. The Ox is a variant. The Perseus was a concept, so to me that's not a new ship, that's a release. So essentially we're getting the Salvation and the Clipper. That's it. All the others are variants. And I think when people look back at this year, a lot like last year, this year has been better than last year, but it is just the year of variants. If you go back and look at all the ships all year that we got, Polaris, Golem. The rest were variants. You see what I mean? Like it's just, actually the Wolf. I'll give him the Wolf as well. Forgot about the Wolf. The Wolf. Yeah. But everything else was variants. That in almost a 12-month period is crazy.
It is.
Yeah. Paladin. Okay. Paladin, Apollo. Okay, there's a few. All right, I'll shut up. I'm wrong. All right. You made your point. I was wrong. But the point still stands. There's a shitload of variants coming at this sale. I'm not wrong about the sale. I'll say that. There's only 2 new ones. The rest are variants and a release. And we're getting 7 ships that we know of. Not to say that we might be more coming. So yeah, I don't know. This is the only ship I'm excited about, but I also don't think it's a ship for me. I don't know. Does it appeal to you at all, Algared? I know you're not the biggest Drake guy, but like,
I'm not the biggest Drake guy. I'd be interested to see what it does. like, and having said I'm not a big Drake guy, I did like the ship. I've got to say, I did like the ship. Oh, that ship's not a Drake ship, is it? It just looks like Drake. It's Gray's market. But I do like the Cutlass Black. That is a great Drake ship. And in terms of fighters, I actually like the Buccaneer. When I was doing Arena Commander, the Buccaneer felt like a fighter. It felt fast and nippy and nimble, whereas all the others just felt slow and sluggish.
Well, if Bops jumps in, we'll talk about the Buccaneer stuff, because Piggles did find some stuff around the Buccaneer.
Come on, Bops.
Yeah,
We're waiting for you.
Bops, we're waiting for you. We've got some stuff to tell you. But yeah, I don't know, Piggles, is there anything Drake is definitely not in your warehouse, is it, Piggles?
Not really.
Yeah. But you can look at it as a giant solar sail like those ship though, right? I find that part of it interesting, you know.
Yeah, I mean they're not for me. They are cool ships nonetheless. I don't know. IAE for me this year, there's nothing that really holds my interest that's coming. Although I do think that I do think that saying expressing disappointment that it being the vast majority variants coming might not quite accurately look at the point of it. I don't know. That's probably a bad choice of words. But
what do you mean by that?
What I'm trying to say is that, like, say you've made a ship, you've set it up so you can swap something out easily. You've put the work in. Why not just finish it off and release that variant? Or, you know, you've made something for the other game, Squadron 42, and it's been sat unused for years in the main release. Why not just to polish it up a little bit and get it out?
So for me, it's a little bit of the history of it. Like, for example, when the Spirit came out, or when the Spirit was concepted, they sold 3 of them. So they kind of sold them as a, hey, pick which one you want. Now, what we're moving towards is, here's the first variant, right? And I'll give an example. Here's the Golem, and now we're getting the Golem Ox. Why weren't they both just sold at the same time? That's my point.
Would you rather be sold a ship that you can't use for a year, or would you rather be sold a ship and then later down the line?
That's not really how it works. They would have made the Golem Ox way back when they made the Golem. It's just been sitting there waiting this whole time. My point is, if you bring out 3 variants and I buy this one, and it turns out these 2 existed later, and it was actually this one that I would have brought, you'd be pissed. It's called buyer's remorse. I brought this one because that's the only one I knew that existed, but then you released this one, and that's the one I actually wanted.
But there is but CIG have expressed an intention to have fewer concept ships, to have more straight to flyable stuff. Like you mentioned, the Spirits. You know, it comes out, you get 3. We announced 3 variants. We got the A1, the C1, and the E1. We still haven't seen shit about the E1.
Let me put it in a real simple term: the Hermes, right? Think about all the people that waited all those years for the Apollo, and now they're bringing out the Hermes. Now think of how that divides the audience. There's going to be people that go, shit, I wish I never brought the Apollo and just got the Hermes. Oh, but then I agree with you. There's going to be as many people that go, oh, well, I'll buy the Hermes because I don't like medical, but I did like the way the Apollo looks. I can see why they're doing it, but it's the not knowing part. People cannot plan if they do not know. So what I'm saying is, if they said, this is the Apollo, oh, and by the way, we're planning to have a data running variant or a cargo variant, whatever the variant's going to be in the future, so people just hold off. It's the not having the information to make an educated purchase. That's what I'm talking about by a buyer's remorse.
But I do understand that.
Algared, please weigh in here.
Well, I get the idea of it. I could see if they've planned it and they plan to have a cargo variant, then I'd hope they'd bring them out at the same time. Because cargo is not exactly something that we don't have gameplay for. If it's got someone coming in and they say, look, we need you to do an onboarding task. Look, use this golem, give us a different variant. So it's a kind of off the cuff, not originally planned, but done. I could see that.
Because that was the Saber Ravens, wasn't it? That's how that was done. Yep, I'll give you that.
I think the Saber's are a bit like that, where we got the onboarding task. And this could be the similar thing. It wasn't originally planned. They gave it as an onboarding task. It came out well, and it.
Do you honestly think that that's what, knowing what you and I talked about when the golem dropped, right? Do you honestly think that that's what they did? Really? You really think that's what it was?
I'm saying it's possible. I'm not saying it is. And given that we thought that, you know, the golem would be an ideal ship to have a variant for cargo, I find it hard to believe that they didn't have that in mind.
Okay, here's a really good example. In YouTube chat, I think this perfectly surmises what I'm trying to explain. Execute says, a perfect example of what Execute just said is the Guardian MX, and that is exactly it. They had the Guardian, then they had the Guardian Quai, and then they had the fucking Guardian MX. And everyone will tell you, no one would have touched the fucking first two if the Guardian MX had just come out. That's a perfect fucking example. Perfect example.
I'm not saying that's not the case. I'm just giving benefit of a doubt. I find it hard to believe they didn't have a view that they wanted to do the a golem cargo.
My point is doing right by your audience, right? Like we do right by you. We want to support your game and stuff like that, but we don't want to feel fucking ripped off. And you look at the Guardian MX, that's a perfect example. It's like, wait, hang on. So I can't get the War Bond version of this ship because I brought the other one and supported you there. So you're trying to price gouge me so I buy a Guardian and I buy a Guardian MX? Hang on a minute. That feels like shit.
I mean, just
go on, Pickles.
Well, just to talk about that example specifically, I'd say that the Guardian MX is a fundamentally different ship from the other two Guardians. Sure, it's based on the same chassis. It looks pretty similar, right? But it handles differently. It's a completely different weapon setup. It doesn't have any of the living stuff that the other two Guardians have.
No, that's just
the audience.
That's just a module. The bed's just turned off in the Guardian MX.
But the audience for the two ships between the Guardian and the Guardian MX is different. You don't buy a Guardian MX if you want what you want out of a Guardian. You don't buy a base Guardian if you want a good dogfighter.
But Pickles, your thought is flawed. My point is, if they'd only made a Guardian MX and enabled the bed, the Quai does not need to exist. The Guardian does not need to exist. You could have literally made a Guardian MX with a QED on it, and you're done. No, they split it up and modularized the fuck out of it and tried to milk it for all of its worth. And they deliberately sold it from worst to best, which is what they do a lot. Me and Algared picked this. Algared, how many times have we talked about worst to best? Like 2014? 2014, I swear. Right? It's been around for a really long time. It's really obvious. And whoever the marketing person was looked at it and went, I can sell this and make a shit ton of money. Right? And that's the problem. Yes, they are trying to make money to fund the game, but I guarantee you, if we feel shit, the wallets close. And most people will tell you, the longer they've been following this game, the more their wallet closes because they feel like they're getting burnt.
And I think that's the problem. Like, the biggest problem is not necessarily that if I buy this ship and then, and I buy it War Bond because I like the look of a ship, but I really wish it could do X. And then they bring out the variant that's $5 more, or $10 more, or $15 more, or even the same price. It makes it difficult to get that ship without either melting or buying seat upgrades if they're available. It just does at times leave a poor taste in the mouth. But yeah.
Robert, it's not about how so Robert's on Twitch and he's telling me it doesn't handle that well, the Guardian MX. It's not the point. And how something handles can be changed. That's just a couple of numbers you change in a file. That's easy to fix, right? My point is how it was sold. Right, it was clearly the better of the three variants, and if all three variants came out, I guarantee you how they were sold would have changed. Someone at marketing realized that if they separate out the variants and sell them individually 6 months apart, they make a shit ton more money. And to give an example of the Guardian MX, we had the blue silhouette image of the Guardian MX as they were selling the Guardian. In fact, we had it before they sold the Guardian because they sold the Guardian in December. And it was the ship video was at October. So it literally had the Guardian MX before they knew they were going to sell it. So you can't tell. That's a perfect example.
Pete gives an even better example.
Yep.
The MPUV. MPUV originally concepted with having, claws and track and stuff for moving stuff. They bring out an updated MPUV with tractor beam.
Yep. And
they don't upgrade all the others. They just sell it as a standalone.
But you can tell when the MPU finally kind of makes it into the game, that'll just be a modular ship. They'll essentially give you that ship with the modules you purchase. So if you bought the tractor version, you get the MPUV and the tractor beam, and you'll have to go buy the cargo pod or the personnel pod, and it'll swap around for the other variants.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that ship's going to be. And it'll be the same thing for the Atlas and a bunch of other ships.
And the MPUV is supposed to be modular ship. The pods at the back are supposed to change. They're supposed to be. We've even seen there's a medical pickup version with med kits and stuff in it for the back. Now, whether that's still in game or whether it's still something that's there, or whether it's just a Squadron 42 asset, or whether it was just something they were playing around with. But there have been, apart from a cargo, the passenger, there's a med, and lots of variants are supposed to come out for the MPUV. That's why it's called the MPUV. But the fact that they brought out one with a tractor beam and others don't have it, it's a bit.
I don't know. It just, I don't like where it's going, right? And I'll put this out there for example, right? And you guys remember this. Maybe I'm going to be completely wrong in what I'm about to say, but I'd be willing to bet money. The Clipper. I'm willing to bet money that there are variants of that coming down the line. I'd bet money on it. I bet absolute money on it. And I reckon it might even be the same for the Salvation. But the Clipper, I'm definitely prepared to go to bat on, because every medium ship we've seen, with a very few exceptions, one would be something like the Raft that's really built for just that one task. I look at this Clipper, I can see that could be even when we've talked about it, Algared, how many different variants have we come up? We've come up with a whole bunch of different ones, right? So that tells me they could literally do a couple of variants of this ship and sell them all independently.
Well, you look at the Drake ships. You've got the Cutlass variant. You've got the actually that's probably a bad example. There's very few Drake example.
Just let me address this. So
that I can think of.
So Parker GPS says still no Intrepid variants like XE Thought. Well, I still think they're coming because their gameplay's not ready, Parker. That's why. It's the same thing with the Clipper if you think about it. The reason if they bring out the variants and they're separated, that's because of their gameplay. I get that, but here's the thing: the Golem Ox, that gameplay is ready. It was ready 6 months ago. That's different. If the gameplay is ready, it should be released at the same time. If you're waiting on gameplay and it's something like the Marky Mark or something like that, I have no problem with that. But here's the other thing. We know the Marky Mark exists, so we can plan for that. It's the not knowing that pisses me off. It's the, hey, I like the look of this ship, and I brought this one, and now you've made this one. It's the same thing as the Guardian X. And I guarantee you, if they told people the Guardian X existed, nobody would have picked up the Quai, or very less people would have picked up the Quai or the Guardian, and they would have waited for the MX. It's just it's just a fact. There was a percentage. I don't know what that percentage is. It could be 5, it could be 95. But there's a bunch of people that are pissed, and I'm just going to use the MX as an example. That the MX came out later, right? And they and I'd be, and do you know how you could tell? If you went back through the files and stuff like that, and looked, CIG would know what it was they'll be able to see the number of people that CCU upgraded from one of those ships to the Guardian X. All those people are pissed at you. They're all annoyed at you because you misled them. And this is the data. Like, they track all this data, right? But at the end of the day, how do you track the data? Like, someone will buy something, but they'll buy it reluctantly. They'll buy it like they're pissed off. And you cannot get that goodwill back. That's what I'm talking about, right? And I don't care if it's 5% of people that are annoyed like that, but they start to close their wallets, and that's how you start to lose funding. That's the point I'm trying to get to. You got to keep us happy. Like, the whole thing about giving customers what they want, it's just that simple, right? You do well by us. That goodwill, Algared, all the way back in the day, you and I have talked about this again and again and again. It used to have this really goodwill, and I know it's getting a bigger and uglier company, and that happens as things go on. But you got to remember, you're dealing with people. You keep those people happy, they'll come back and they'll happily support you and give you the money. But if you treat them like shit and you treat them like a wallet, that's where it changes. That's where it starts to close off. And that's the fear I'm talking about. I don't like to spend money as much as I used to because they make me feel bad about spending that money. And I'm gonna be honest, it is literally feels and vibes. But that is really important. People go into a retail experience, and a lot of people they give over their money because it releases endorphins and makes them feel good. That is literally one of the number one things in marketing they will teach you. And I think they're forgetting that. They're so much invested in the marketing store, they've just forgot why we're doing this. It's a dream.
Yep. There is an element where when you get treated like a cash cow, that it makes, or when you start to feel as a you're a cash cow, it lessens your desire to do stuff.
That's a really good example. On Twitch, Demon Wolf, stop giving us 30. Stop doing the bundling. That's another one. That's, man, I could go on. I'm gonna go on a rant if I start going on about that. But yeah, the bundles are gotta go. No more bundling.
I think it'd be a good time for us to move on.
Yes.
And it would be great to do a question, but I'm looking at our stream questions, and there's nothing there because I don't think they're coming in on our stream.
No, they're not on our. They're over on. They're on Starscream.
Yeah,
so you have to switch over. We'll come back to this though later. So we'll do some questions and then we'll come back to that.
So,
all right, what's the first one, Piggles? Piggles.
We've got WolfSense03. What are good speculative CCUs to pick up this IAE?
Any of those 4 ships that are going up in price, straight off the bat. That would be the good ones. Any ships that you think that are going to go up in price are always a worthy investment. So yeah, that's a no-brainer, that one.
Yep.
Next one, Piggles.
What are the plans for the channel once Star Citizen 1.0 goes live? I know this is a while off, but do you both see yourselves playing together or having different separate playstyles?
Both, probably. Algared and I do play together occasionally. We'll probably play more apart though. We just have different times when they're free.
Due to time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I got more free time than him, and I play other games as well. Like I've been playing Arc Raiders last week. That's been really fun. And I play a lot of PvP stuff, but not Algared's not that way inclined. I don't know. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, nothing against like there are times we do play together and do a game together, but yeah, more often than not, the times we're playing is I don't think I've ever been playing when you've been playing Star Citizen. I can't remember too many times when that's been the case, and we've been doing different at different locations or different whatever.
Robert JT asks on Twitch, Piggles, can you change your avatar? I have to go to sleep soon.
Absolutely not.
There you go. Sorry.
Keeping him awake. We've also got a first-time chatter on Twitch who says, question, this is from SVL75, who says, do you think the Kraken or the Kraken Privateer is going to be more popular? That I'll let Algared answer this one, but that is really obvious.
Well, for me, I think the Privateer, but it's got shops and other stuff. And
he's incorrect. It's the Kraken. The Kraken sells out the first all the time, and that's how you can tell it's going to be more popular. It's just the base variant.
Fine, said for me.
Yeah. But the Kraken will be the more popular of the ones because it's also cheaper. Just that simple.
Well, there's an element of cheaper, but it also just has a more general appeal as well. Its use case isn't hyper specialized.
Yeah, true.
More versatile.
It's a cheaper version of a big ship.
Yeah, more versatile.
I should have just thought of that. Yeah.
Yep. All right, so we've actually got questions above there, Piggles, that you've missed. I've just realized.
Yeah. So what's the process to get the Twitch drop enabled skins?
Yeah, like
watch Twitch.
It's because you tried to start it late.
Yeah, I know. That's my job. Gotta keep you on your toes, Biggles. So YouTube's so Nightbot. So Nightbot. We need to add Nightbot to the thing so it skips those ones. Biggles. See that line from Nightbot. We're just gonna call this guy Symbol because we can't pronounce Chinese. Or Japanese, wherever it's written. It says, is it better to have something like Aurelian over an Asgard since it's easier to buy in-game in the future anyways? Is it better to have something like Aurelian over an Asgard? Well, they're very different ships in a way because the Asgard does transport and it does cargo, where the Raelian really only does cargo. So that, and also at the moment the Raelian is significantly cheaper until that price increase goes up. And I don't know what you want to do in game. I know Algared would agree. Yeah, if we don't know what they want to do in game, it's hard to tell you exactly which one's the better. So if you want to do a context question Symbol and just give us another question saying, just in context to my last question, and tell us what you want to do in game, because that would point us to which one you'd probably prefer.
So if you're more combat focused, then I wouldn't be going Raelian. But if you're more cargo focused, I'd be going probably Raelian.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to put it.
It's that type of focus. So,
yep. Devil's Hooch on Twitch is the first time Shadow says, whatever happened to the Nautilus seemed to like it vanished into the ether. It's just priority. You can put mines in the game and you get the gameplay out of the mines. You don't need the mine layer to do that. And you got to remember it was Squadron that's the focus. Once Star Citizen comes online, then when they get back to mines for Star Citizen, then you'll probably see the Nautilus come along and possibly other mine ships as well for bigger mines for bigger ships.
And when you look at what the Nautilus has, apart from and you look at the Nautilus, like most of its effectiveness is in its mines.
Yeah.
Without its mines, its gameplay is not really there. So it's a downgraded.
You've got the sentry turrets too. Yeah. But again, we've already got sentry turrets around stationing games, so you can see what I mean. Like they've given us the things that it can do. They just haven't given us the ability to put them down. In a way, that's a really weird way to think about it. I only just thought of it just then. Isn't the Nautilus a little bit like base building, but just defenses?
Yep.
In a weird way. It's not building them, but it's
your base. Yeah.
Yeah. So I almost think, wouldn't it be cooler if it actually built the mines and built the sentries?
That would be nice.
I wonder. Put that in your back pocket, boys and girls, because that's a really interesting thought. I just popped into my head. Why would you make it so that it can just place them when it can now build them? That would be sick.
And that's why they're so small.
Well, yeah. What
big giant ones?
What if it can actually make different size mines? What if they make it so it literally builds the mines inside it and then it releases them? That would be mad.
Or build the platform outside and kind of.
I don't know about you, but don't let Grim know about that. But it's time for a concepting of Nautilus, because if he hears that, I can see he's a big fan of Nautilus, by the way. So he's going to run away with that idea and go, "Oh my god, base building, mine building Nautilus." Someone tell him, and I'll come on and we'll do a reconcepting with him. It'll be a good episode, I reckon. But yeah. All right.
Spike.
So Spike 668 says, question, will I get the F8 paint with mine in buyback? I did see a thing about this during the week on the Reddit.
You will
have it up, but yeah, what Piggles Piggles is beating me to the punch, but yeah, they've literally said that if you ever got a golden ticket or you have the Wing Commander pack, 10,000, you will automatically get it retroactively applied. So that means someone like myself, that's picked up the golden tickets, anyone that was there for the golden ticket, you are retroactively going to go back and get it. So I think that would cover you, Spike, because you would have had to have it in, put it in buyback. That means you would have had a gold ticket at some point. So that means you're going to get that skin. And for what he's talking about, let me just go back and find it really quickly. Bear with me, please, people. Where was it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's in the IAE FAQ, the Horizon Malcolm's U Spectrum page.
It was on the spec, so it was on this one.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is there. Yep, I see it. Thank you. I'll bring everyone over. Open a new tab so we can see it in big. There we go. So that's the skin that we're all retroactively getting for the F8. A bit camo-y. Would you say, Algared? Bit camo-y with a gold
bit
trim?
Yep.
Why are we retroactively getting this? Does anyone know? Is it why are they giving
us? It's because the Lightning's just going on general sale this IAE. So anyone who previously did the golden ticket
this is an apology.
Gets that skin.
So this is an apology. Sorry, we're selling your ship again. Fuck you, have skin.
Well, they did always say they were going to sell it again.
That's fine. If I get a free skin every time they sell a ship that I don't own, I've got no problem with that. That's great. Yeah. But for the people that own it, that's a slap in the face. Here's that red ship. Hey, but guess what? I've got the ultimate slap in the face. I brought the Banner Merchant Man on day one, and it was only ever going to be sold for one day. What a lie that was. What a fucking lie. I melted all my ships at that point to buy that Banner Merchant Man too, and then I slowly brought them back. Yeah.
I will say it's a cool skin, I will say.
Oh, you were listening. Your ears were burning. What do you think of that, though, as a Nautilus idea, though? It builds the mines.
Like crafts them?
Yeah, so well, back in the day, it was just meant to be a mine deployer, but now we've got base building. Why doesn't it just build different sized mines and deploy them? So you can deploy, fighter-sized or right up to capital-sized.
Normally, I would say that's very un-CIG. However, you could be onto something with their approach on the Pioneer, which kind of borrows a little bit from that, in that it can self-extract resources to help fuel the build. Maybe not fuel the build completely, but yeah, it's possible that a combat ship could essentially craft its ordnance to some degree in the mines.
So my thought process goes from being like the mine layer to like the base defender ship. So it defends a space station or whatever, but also what if you go down to a station and it can build sentry turrets and stuff like that? That's the ship I'd move it to.
Yeah.
And given that you had to maintain the drones or the mines that were out there was, in a sense, there was an element of repair that went in with the Nautilus as well. So I can see that. And then you've also got the fact that the sentry drones, as I understand it, there's been talk about the idea of being able to build sentry drones for ground bases. So if you can build sentry platforms for ground bases, why can't you build a sentry drone for a space station? Wouldn't a sentry bot in a space station be the same as a platform on the ground when you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, and if you're talking about building and crafting, then the whole idea of tiers kind of come into the discussion. So, it'd be cool if with the right resources, the Nautilus could craft, a higher tier of sentry drone that maybe has a faster fire rate or what have you. If it's a mine, maybe it has a slightly bigger yield or whatever. But no, I think that would make a lot of sense. Yeah, I hadn't quite thought of the Nautilus like that. I mean, I definitely am going to use it as sort of a, station or even operations, just kind of like security net, so that I know when people cross the net, not necessarily to destroy ships. But I do think the Nautilus is going to get a bit of because it's such a niche gameplay, I do think it's going to get a bit of a rework that makes it a lot more, especially a ship of that size, make it a lot more useful. So I think it's going to have a lot more functionality than what we currently see.
Well, the only video they ever released of it has literally been scrubbed from the internet. I know you've got a copy of it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't exist anymore. They deleted it.
That was just like an artist page, wasn't it?
It was like a previous walkthrough type of thing.
It was a flight. Yeah, it was a flight from an artist page.
Yeah, I did a little digging. So essentially, it was Michael Oberschneider, who's the designer of the Nautilus. It was from his art, art portfolio. It was on his ArtStation website, and it is I can confirm that it was the concept model. But I will say it is an extremely built out concept model. And my questions about why it was so built out were because, like some ships, if you go back to the concept pledge page, transmission page for it, they have the cutaways for the Nautilus. So whenever a ship has cutaways like that, it gets a concept interior pass as well. So that's why myself and many others originally thought, oh, the Nautilus has been built and CIG's just holding on to it. Nope, it was just the concept model. I've actually had more than a few CIG developers confirm this to me, that it's concept model only. So unfortunately. Yep.
Someone in chat was saying they're subscribed to 2031 Algared, and I call them an amateur because you've got a lifetime one, don't you?
Indeed.
You can't beat Algared at that. Like, he's got everything. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Right,
so, no, I don't have everything these days.
No, but every sub, that's insane. Yeah, okay. Sub for life, son of a bitch. He got that. What did you get that for, crossing 100 mil or something like that? You got it for some ridiculous reason.
Yeah, it was crossing 100 mil.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I did actually buy my first in-game ship on my main account yesterday. I bought an Ursa. I bought an Ursa because I didn't own one. So I bought an Ursa in-game.
Very cool. So, yeah, it feels weird. I did that recently too. It was a different ship, but it's a weird feeling to buy it in-game.
Yep. So I bought my first in-game ship on this account. On my my Zero to Hero account, I did buy a Cutlass Black, but then it got wiped. So that's how long ago that was.
All right. Next question. Socially Confused says, question, is the Hull A increasing in price to make room for the Ox? I think we kind of talked about this one already.
We did.
Grim, we'll ask you. Why not?
You just on the price changes to the cargo ships that are coming after.
I specifically said,
I'll be interested.
Is the Hull A increasing to make room for the Ox?
It's possible, but to me, how much SCU does the Hull A carry again? I can't remember offhand, but
Hull A is $90 and it carries 64 SCU.
Yeah, I think that's probably the reason. Yeah, because the Ox, I think we've all kind of concluded it's probably 32 SCU of cargo that it carries. I mean, I'm speculating wildly there, but it makes sense that it would. So I could see them wanting to price that at like $55 or something, which would realistically push the Hull A up a bit.
So I
don't think the Hull A is going to skyrocket, but I see it going up $10, $15, maybe $10, something like that.
So you see it as a little cheaper than the Golem itself too. Interesting.
I think so. Yeah. I feel like the cargo variants of ships tend to be the slightly cheaper variants than like the mining or salvage specific. I could be totally wrong on that, but it feels that way.
But that leans even more into the argument of why the Hull A is even going up in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Hull A is the only one we really don't kind of agree with, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely across the board though with those ships. I mean, as CIG starts to fill out these ship lines more and more, and we all knew this was coming. I know you and Algared have talked about this a lot actually on past shows. There's just this general realignment that has to occur at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And obviously CIG's kind of tackling it as it comes, but you just sort of seen these square pegs finally find their square holes to fit into, where they've sort of been all over the place. And the only tricky thing with this whole mathematical equation being that nothing ever goes down in price, so that alignment always has to average up, which is a little tricky.
You know what I'm also starting to think? I don't think it's the Ox. I think it might be the Clipper. Right? If you're taking,
it's possible.
Look at the Cutlass at 110, and I think it's now, and then it went to 115. I'll double check it, but I swear it's 110, 115. I'll double check it just for my sanity.
I think so. 110 sounds right. but that could be with the game pack or whatever. So I could be out.
I have not looked up the price of a cutlass in a long time.
110 sounds about right, or feels about right.
Yeah, that sounds right to me too.
So what are we at? Pledge 110, right? So it is 110.
Yeah.
Same as the Buccaneer, right? My point being, though, if that's 110, how the hell can a cut clipper be more expensive than that? It can't. If it's a medium ship, that does cargo and combat. I think that makes the clipper $90. That's my whole point.
See, I think, and partially kind of going back to the cargo ship. So I think the price is not going to be so much dictated for the clipper, especially not so much dictated by the size of the ship, because it's got a very weird kind of configuration in terms of its silhouette, but not by the size of the ship, but by the SCU count. So
yeah.
I think it's going to be judged based off that, not necessarily that it's bigger or smaller than the Corsair or the Cutlass or whatever. So, but I was talking with Trispan the other day, and I do agree with him. I mean, the ship does not look like it can carry much cargo, but
But
it has to carry at the very least 70 something to 128 SCO cargo, somewhere in that range, or it doesn't make any sense.
Do you reckon Tris would mind if we showed off some of the photos he made? Just while we're talking about this? I don't think
it has to carry more than the Ox.
Yeah, for sure.
Then it gives reason it's got to be more than the Ox at that point. And it's carrying less than the A. It's got to be less. It's got to be in between those two. So pushing the A up to make room for it, but it does make sense.
So I just want to point out that this is his representation of it, and I think it's not correct, but I think it still looks kind of cool to have in the background. Because I think
he said it could be even like just a thrown together mash.
I don't think it rotates anymore. I think it literally just folds the wings up around itself.
That's exactly what I think.
And the whole ship rotates. It makes sense going back to what Algared said. The very first thing Algared said is that is way too complicated for Drake. Yeah, and doing it like that just makes it so much simpler.
And when X was saying, seeing the rotation, I said, if it's rotating, it's not Drake. That was the thing that to me stood out. Drake wouldn't do the rotating. That and I said that's more MISC, that's more Reliant-y style. But if it's not rotating, then it doesn't have to be. It just fits in with the normal Drake. So yeah.
So just remember, stressing for anyone that walked in late, this is an artist's representation done by Trisbone. It is not accurate. It's just to kind of get in the mood. To put it in perspective, just to show you, he also did this. I'm very reluctant to show this live because whenever I play a video, it seems to grab it. So I'm just going to show the thumbnail. But he also did one of an ox, but he did it like it was fat, which I thought was kind of funny. Yeah. So it's a fat ox.
I know on the Clipper, one of the exercises he was kind of doing with that mashup was to sort of see how tall the ship would be to fit in that slot because there's a light above it. So he was trying to see how, and we kind of gave him some measurements, but it's also fair to state that the silhouette we saw a year and some change ago is a year and some change old. They could have drastically changed the Clipper to some degree by now.
Yeah. So just real quick. So if you want to see that's on Trispone's channel there. So Trispone, and he'll be on the captain's table tomorrow at 7 a.m. with me.
Oh, nice.
And this asshole, not Algared, sorry, Grim will be
the voice in the void.
Yeah, we'll be on there. And I'm sure I'll be sleepy as shit because I woke up at 10 o'clock today and I've got to roll my sleep back 3 hours. Yeah, I'm still sleepy as shit now. I'm going to be wasted tomorrow. And I'm going to be savage and Paul's going to pay the price. That's what he does for making me get up early. I'm going to give him, what did I say? The captain's tomato. Is that what I just said? Did I say captain's tomato? The captain's tomato.
I thought you said captain's table, but
wow.
I just heard what I expected to hear.
Captain's tomato. I'm gonna have to. Wow, that's their like couple name. When you merge two names together. Yep. Captain's tomato. I have to remember that one. That's gonna stick somehow. I could tell. Woof.
So the captain's garden is the other of a tomato.
Well, it'd be Astro Garden, would it not?
Yeah, the Astro Garden.
Or the garden pub. Or garden, yeah, I don't know. Whatever. But Captain's Tomato,
Well,
what is happening to me? Right. Sorry, Grim.
I have to, I was going to say, I have to run, but I did want to just come on, say hey, try to thank you all for a second, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your stream.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good one.
No worries. Always a pleasure to have you drop by, Grim.
Appreciate that, Algared and Execute. I will see you tomorrow.
Piggles,
I did get your DM. Yeah, no, I got Piggles' DM earlier. I appreciate that. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good stream.
All right. Take care.
See you, everyone.
Later. All right.
Go for Willie has a question.
Yep, go for it.
Do you think the Hull C will go up as well since the Ironclad is 450 before launch?
No. No, I think
so. The Hull C went up massively at the time, and I hope it doesn't go up.
Yeah.
Again, that would be that's my response to that question.
Yep.
And then we go to next one. Then we go down to the other one. So we got Office Rondog says, "What do you think the flight ready price of a Perseus will be? Closer to the Hammerhead or Polaris?"
Basically, we've talked about this like the 5th time we've talked about this, but basically ships tend to go up 10 to 20%. We have had some outliers in the last 12 months that have changed that. Like the Polaris was 30%, and I think the Triage only went up. The Apollo only went up 5%. So they're the 2 outliers we've had for the first time, but generally speaking, it's 10 to 20%. So if you add 10 to 20% onto the current price of the Perseus, which is $675, I think I worked it out. It was like $740 to $810, somewhere in that ballpark from memory. Is that's what it was, wasn't it, Algared? Yeah. So I'd be expecting in that window.
And if it's any less than that, then great.
Yeah, I'd hope it's less than more. But they, again, I'm almost leaning towards more, sadly, because they know how popular this ship is. It literally, on the funding tracker, I can show it, it literally has a spike of its own.
It's the highest spike.
Yeah, it's the highest single spike for any ship, basically, that's ever existed. That's how popular that thing was. And I think the sad thing that they may find out when it releases is it's because of how it looked, and it doesn't look like that anymore. I now have to sit here and wonder how well it's going to sell, just based on, and I mean after the fact. I don't know, Piggles, you're a bit of more of a looks guy. So, are you a fan of the Perseus, or from what you've seen of the trailer and stuff like that, or did it change too much for you?
I think it's close enough that it's still pretty much the same thing. I mean, I know you don't like the look of the hull. You don't think it looks armored enough anymore. Are you getting the picture up?
I'm getting something else up. That's all right. Keep going.
No, I'm gonna find a picture because I cannot remember.
You want me to bring up the old one, or you want me to bring up the
new one, please?
Right. Yep. I can do that.
Cheers. Yeah, I mean, realistically, it's still the same ship. The shape hasn't changed. You're looking at some texturing on the hull.
So this is not increased. Like, I haven't increased the lighting so you can't see the detail. But that's the new one. But that's the detail that makes it look shit. It's way too much greebling. Like
But then you're looking at bits like armor doesn't just need to be a big solid piece of steel.
No, it doesn't. But like, this is the old concept, right? This is the Thunder Cow plane. It looks armored. It looks sleek, right? This one, I know you can't see it. You can only really see it under the turret here. I really need to. What I'll do, give me a second, is I'll open the background image that I made for it for last week's stream.
Honestly, I get it. It's got more little bits on it, but I still think it looks like the same ship. It still looks like it's covered in armor. And to be honest, I think if I had a Perseus, I wouldn't be upset.
There you go. So now you can see the details. So I basically went back in to pull all the details out. But yeah, it don't look the same. And Grim agrees with me, by the way. I know he's not here.
I mean, there'll be some people who are we'll care about that. Someone's always going to care about something, but I think the vast majority of people aren't really going to give a shit. I know, to me, it looks the same. It's totally fine in my book.
Okay, that's cool. I just know there are some people that think the same way as me and Grim do. It just doesn't look as plated as it used to, and it just looks like another Polaris. They've essentially just it's lost the styling. And I don't know, Algared, you seem to be a little. I could be wrong, but you seemed a little bit on the fence last time.
I don't mind. One of the things I do like is the visual clues giving you an indication of what the ship is and what how, like you want the views that say, okay, this is heavily armored. I've got the visual clues that say cues that say it's heavily armored. So I like that because it's the same idea of why upgrade the weapon so you can actually see the markers on, what tier weapon it is.
Yep.
If it's heavily armored, you want it to look heavily armored.
Yeah.
If that doesn't matter, then why can't I just have a suit of armor that looks like light armor that's heavy armor instead of it being bulky and chunky and all the rest of it? Because that chunky armor that I run around in tells me I'm in heavy armor. I see someone else in that, they're in heavy armor. If this ship doesn't look heavy armored, it just makes it harder to work out. But if every Perseus is heavy armored, and it doesn't matter if it's got the greebling and other stuff, if it's been changed so it's not as heavy armored, but it's got heavy shields, then it's not really the Perseus that Admiral Bishop was after. So I'm a bit ambivalent. If it's still heavily armored, it doesn't matter.
I think I'll reserve judgment until I finally see it for myself. But after last week's show, I had probably a dozen messages from people agreeing with what me and Grim and yourself had said. And just saying that they weren't a fan of it. It's too greebly compared to the old version, and it just doesn't look plated enough. And someone was saying, I hope they bring out a skin that literally makes it look more armored. And I was like, geez, that's a lot of work just for a skin. But we'll see what happens. I'm sure if there's a huge blowback, I reckon Pickles is right. I reckon most people won't give a shit. It's a ship that they're not going to care. They're not as invested as we are. And I think listening to you say that, Pickles, is very realistic. I don't want to mince words, but I the thing that came up for me, as I said last week, was don't really comment too much specifically on how a ship looks. I'm more important about its function. But this one was just I had to say something because it just didn't look like what I was buying anymore.
And having said that, like ships like the Phoenix are supposed to be, the RSI Phoenix, supposed to be the most heavily armored version of the Connies, but you can't tell. And so it's fitting in with what they've done on other ships. The Starfarer G is more heavily armored than the Starfarer. The Idris M is more heavily armored than the was originally more heavily armored than the Idris P. But we don't see that necessarily in the artwork.
See, I'm just looking at the other thing here. Like, if the greebling was like the greebling here too, see this? I wouldn't be complaining. But it don't look like that. It like, and I can't really show you because I don't have the image. But we had the video up last week, Pickles, and it literally looks like it's been ripped straight off the Polaris. It's almost like it's the same greebling set. They've just copied.
But that's the thing. That's the RSI.
No,
style.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, right? So the Perseus is 600 years old, right? The Polaris is just the brand newest ship. There is meant to be this massive age gap. It's like the Hurricane to the F8. They're both heavy fighters. They're both by Anvil, but they're completely different styles because they're separated by 600 years.
I do get that, but some brands would maintain some semblance of similarity in their design. Obviously, some might have a departure, like you said with the Anvil ones.
Cars are just over 100 years old, and look how much they've changed in 100 years. And you're trying to tell me 600 years?
Yes, but the actual representation of technology isn't a whole lot different. What's the major difference? Shields exist. That that there's not much other than that.
I don't know. I'd have to sit there. Like, look what happens 100 years in human history, right? And as things go forward, they accelerate, right? So I'm saying it's just a little like,
Yeah.
again, we're talking about a video game. We're talking about a thing that's not real. I get all that, right? But the thing I'm trying to make is this is what we were sold. And I think it's just departed too much from what it was sold. It's close. I'll give you that. It's like 90% there. It's just, I wish I really do hope they bring out a skin that just has less greebling or greebling more like this. It is lost if because it's so greebled, right? And it looks just like a Polaris. It's just lost its aggressiveness. It doesn't have those sleek, this image here, right? Just the one from it. Where is it? God damn it! God damn it! God damn it! I want to go through every picture before I fucking find it. Hold on. Hold on. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Right. For fuck's sake. Right? It does not have, like, this looks like a bunch of knives, right? Like a sleek, slender knife, right? You look at the other one, it does not have that sleekness. And that's what I'm trying to convey to you. It's somehow lost that aggressive shark look that this had.
I think the problem is you're looking at it from a certain angle and then inferring the shape.
That's what it's not the shape, it's the greebling, right? And I will agree, I have to give it the benefit of the doubt, but in my experience of seeing all the other ships, it won't change, right? But I will freely come to you and say I was wrong when it comes out if that is the case. But see how it's kind of got the minimalist greebling here? It's got it, but it's more minimalist. When you see it in that photo that I posted here, it is just pea soup. Now, the other thing that I want you to try and envision, right, is if you put that Thundercloud skin on this ship, what of a mess is that going to look like?
I mean, I genuinely think it looked fine.
All right.
I know you disagree with me, and
It's
I know
okay. It's okay. It's okay.
There's no point.
It's okay to disagree. It's okay to disagree.
No, but what I'm saying is, I know you're not going to make your mind up until you see it in game.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
So,
but I am heavily weighted to being disappointed because I saw what the Polaris looked like, and I'm seeing a thing with RSI, right, where they essentially took the interior of the Zeus and they've just used it fucking everywhere. Right, and it's the same thing again. I think they've just taken what was on the Polaris and just splattered all over the outside of the Perseus. That's the feeling I'm getting, right?
I do understand that, but it is still absolutely a Perseus, and you know,
functionally,
functionally, and by looks as well. If I had a Perseus and this is what it looked like, I wouldn't be upset. I'd be fine with it. But I know you're going to have a different opinion to me, and that's fine.
And it's okay to. It's okay to. But that's why I asked you, because I wanted your opinion. Not shitting on it at all. That's all good. Animal Alpha, thank you for the subscription with the Prime on Twitch. Go ahead, Algared.
Most appreciated. I know that armor has changed over the years in our history. Like you look at World War I armor, it was just great big slabs of metal. We go now, we've got the composite armors and all the rest of it. So could that be they're trying to show that difference? Yeah, sure. But the thing that gets to me is not necessarily, and will it make any difference if it's as Pickles is saying? Probably not. But for me, if it's a heavy armored ship, I want that visual, just those visual clues, so I know. And it's that.
Real quick, Algared, there's a hype train thing going on Twitch, and thank you for the subscription with the Prime, Lucky Blade. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yep, most appreciated.
Yep.
So yeah, it's that visual, those visual clues that CIG always say they want to give, and yet some ships don't seem to have those visual clues to indicate they're more heavily armored. And I said that, Idris M over Idris P, Starfarer G over Starfarer. I'm sure that the Perseus over a Nautilus or a Polaris, and that's the type of thing I feel is missing. Even if you look at Phoenix over Andromeda, Phoenix is supposed to be more heavily armored, and you don't get that feel. And
Pre-Sand is the first time Twitter on chat. She says, "No, you crazy bro." I assume he's talking to me. It's fine. As I said, people aren't going to agree with me. It's totally fine. And my opinions are my own. We'll wait and see. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. And I think random time in Twitch basically says, yeah, it went from looking like an old armed warship to something Batman would use. And yeah, it just doesn't, to me, it just doesn't feel armored, but that doesn't mean it's not.
Yeah.
It's just the visual cues.
And from the people I've talked to, it seems to be about, at the moment, it seems to be about 50-50.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see. And again, if people are disappointed with it, I'm sure they'll make changes, especially if only half of them don't give a shit and the other half actually do care. Maybe they will change it to make everyone happy. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Ben Han from NZ says, do you think CIG will offer another referral bonus anytime soon? The last one we had was in Business Law Suites earlier this year. Yeah, it'll probably be one around, they usually do one in December from memory. So I think about what that ship would be. It'd probably be maybe a Nurser or something. Oh no, Nurser's probably a bit big.
That's P72.
Pulse has been done. Yeah, it'll be one of them. It'll be something. They'll figure it out.
First time chat on Twitch.
Yep.
I help. I'm being shocked. Says, I do. It's fairly right to assume higher level details often convey less bulky. You can see it in tanks that have bulky armor exterior. So
clearly,
picking up that visual aspect.
Yeah, clearly they're a Hassan fan. That first time chat. Right.
Yeah.
Shempasta says, will the AIE be last CCU for Warborn CCUs? I had someone say to me during the week that they've got a lot of new people come in that need help with CCUs, and my reply to them is unfortunately they're sadly dying. I didn't do a guide this year in Invictus because there was just no way to do one because they didn't sell any at the end and they randomly sold them all the way through. So how can I make a guide as we go? It's just not possible. So they kind of killed the whole guide thing, and they do have a new marketing person there, and clearly they just don't care about CCUs anymore. So it may change and they do it again, but whoever the new marketing person is, they've changed what they're doing.
Well, and I think the upgrades are still there. The difference is you've got to take a gamble. You've just got to say, yes, that one works for me, and hopefully a better one doesn't come along. Whereas when they used to do it, you'd see them all. You wouldn't buy any on the day. You'd wait until the end because then you could pick the one that best suited your chain.
Essentially, what you're trying to say is if you have already been doing CCUs, you just find ones that are in your gaps and you add them in. I can't do a guide for that, right? But for new people, waste of time, because I'd be literally saying buy everything that comes out, but you're only going to use these 3, and that's not saving. That's going to waste your money. So I can't do a guide for that. Yeah,
we don't do guides for that type of stuff. Whereas in the past, they'd come out and we could actually start with a base ship and then build, show you how you could get to X ship. You're just using the CCUs from that came out that year. Can't do it if you can't get all the CCUs. If they're all not available at the same time, you pick and choose which ones you want. So, yeah.
So there's a good question there that just came in. We can kind of skip this one when we get to it later. But Altzilla SC just said, question, what do you think of having AIE, Nix, engineering, and a free fly all happening at the same time this year? Seems like a recipe for a bad time. Well, technically the engineering is on a separate server set. So that doesn't count in my book. Nix is so light, it is not funny. It is literally a solar system, 2 stations, the little cloud nebula around them, and then Levski with its asteroid ring. That's it. It's so bare bones. Like there's no other.
The planets aren't in there.
Planets, no landmarks. It's so bare bones that they don't want anything to go wrong. It is literally like a preview that's on live. So I don't think that's going to have an effect either. So that leaves the free fly. I think basically every free fly that's come has been better than the one before. I think we've not essentially taken an engine update all year in this year of stability. And I think basically the free fly Invictus was a little rocky, but that's about what I'm expecting because it's basically the same engine build, right? It hasn't changed since January. So what you inspected in Invictus is what I would inspect again. I think you'd probably agree there, Algared?
Yep. No, it's the standard routine that we are seeing them improve in quality. Like, you get a free fly Yes, it's rough, but it's certainly better than it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, because the player count's also up on what it was then.
Thank you, Jerry Card, for the description with the Prime. We're now on high chain level 2 on Twitch. I don't know what that means, but yeah, okay. It's just telling me messages. I'm just reading them. All right, go ahead, Algared. Sorry.
But the other thing I think is relevant in terms of certainly engineering, and I know it's on a different build type thing, but the fact that it went to PTU the other day for about an hour and then got pulled off. That
back on again now.
Not PTU it went to PTU wave 1 for about an hour and then got pulled, and that kind of says it's still very, very,
it's
very
back
rough.
It's straight back up today and still up now. It just had a bug.
Well,
that's all it was. It was just
that was a server crash problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't.
Well, there you go.
Wasn't front end.
Not as bad as
it wasn't front end. It was back end.
Yeah. So that takes that worry away then.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've seen some cool videos that came out yesterday. There's already people running around putting fires out and stuff like that, and I think they're starting to get to where I was at and telling people very quickly. So let us know your thoughts on engineering if you are in engineering, and we'll read those out as we go through. Piggles, I need like a way to delete things on your server. I can't delete any of the Nightbot messages, and can you add a filter for Nightbot, please? Thank you.
That'd be great.
That would be great, sir. Just because then don't have to keep deleting them.
Nick D.
Yep, go for
8167 says, do you think it's a good idea for balance? Light fighter size 1 to size 2, size 3 rare exception, medium fighter size 2 to size 3, size 4 rare exception, light fighter size 3 to size 5 guns, size 6 and plus rare exception.
What the fuck? Do you think this is a good idea for balance? Change light fighters to be size 1 to size 2 guns, size 3. Yeah, I'm not good with stats like that. I can't absorb that information to answer your question.
No.
I can't answer that because I can't absorb the information because of the way it's written. So apologies for that, Neat Deed. It's not the way I think. Essentially, from what I'm reading, is you're talking. It seems to be like you're pumping all the guns up one higher. Is essentially what I'm thinking. I'm saying. I'm saying no, because then what's the point of having size 1s?
My gut feeling is no, but I'd have to talk to someone like Bob's, who's a
At the end of the day, you can just change. You can just change all the damage values and the speed values, or whatever values they are, and pump them all up as they need to be pumped up. You do not need to actually physically increase the sizes. You just change the stats.
So, the short answer to that, for balance, no, because you just change the stats in game, like in the code.
Randy Monium Time says, can you clarify the difference between a warranty, the warranty all pledge ships have at launch, and insurance in game? Did CIG say that you would not ever completely lose ships you pledged for? They did say that eventually. They said any ship that you've paid money for, you will not lose now. It'll just take longer to get back if you don't have lifetime insurance. So we'll have to kind of wait and see what that finally ended up being in game. But I expect it to be something like half. So if it's like half an hour for a ship without LTI, then maybe it's 15 minutes with, something similar to that. Hype train has ended on.
And we got a hype chest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yay.
Got an emote or something. I don't know what that is. Anyway.
Yep.
Right.
Red Snare.
Yeah, go for it.
Says. So I was just thinking back to the last question, but Red Snare says, question is, does it come with a bucket? Talking about the
Clipper,
the Drake ship.
No clue.
One hopes so. And
technically, didn't the Grey Cat, was it the Grey Market ship come in the bucket? Not Drake. So you're the wrong manufacturer.
Yeah, Grey's Market it's an upgrade of the Cutlass and stuff, because it comes with a bucket at least.
Yeah.
It's turret, but comes with a bucket.
Right. Go for Willie says, question, do you think we will get the refining ships? Actually, I'm going to ask Piggles, do you think it should come with a bucket?
No.
Right. Go for Willie says, do you think we will get the refinery ships, since Nyx is heavily mining focused and considering the salvage changes? I think we talked about this in a different way a couple of weeks ago. Essentially, you need refining and mining to feed into refining to then feed into base building. But we've already got refining at stations, so there's no real massive priority for, or need, I guess works as well, for that while it's already working on stations. And if you go into Delhi Mart, you'll see that they do have a big refinery at Levski there, and that'll do. But yes, it would be nice to probably get a ship to go along with that at some point to speed up that refinery process. I do think it's on the cards, but it's just the priority order, and I think you can clearly look at it and go, nice to have, not necessary.
Yeah, I don't see any point for it anytime soon.
Yeah, nice to have, but again, as you said, not necessary, so it's not a priority.
Well, realistically, if all of it's doing is speeding up the refining process, don't you just make the refining process quicker at stations? Problem solved. For now, you can turn it back later and make it take longer later. Problem solved. Morning, sir. When do you think they will sell bespoke energy weapons for the Perseus? Well, apparently it's the year of beam, citizens, and we've seen one all year, haven't we, Algared? So,
yep.
I don't know.
I keep asking the question, when the beam citizen. So,
well, in September, in September they talked about there was they said along with the Wolf, they're becoming more weaponry works and more bespoke weapons. So I have to assume with the Wolf coming in at AIE, maybe that's what Aegis Day is. Maybe we're getting a whole bunch of weapon upgrades for all these ships. I've got no bloody clue, right? I'm just going by what they said. So I don't know. Hopeful for all these cool weapons coming along. If it misses the window, yeah, too bad. But it looks like we're getting something. We'll see.
Yep.
What about you, Pickles? Real quick. Anything you've seen about new weapons in the files or anything that you can share, Pickles? Or nope?
Nah, we won't see anything till later in PTU anyway.
Roger.
Yep. So Symbol had a question.
Yep.
How careful do new players need to be considering their Star Citizen purchases to avoid buyer's remorse and becoming whales? I think everyone needs to do that.
Yeah. I also think as whales, we should be warning them to not buy new ship. Do what we did. Basically, they need a starter ship. I think one ship is all they ever need, right? And if they want to go to a bigger ship, they only need one. I think you look at anyone that's been around as long as me and Algared have, we have so many ships, we're never going to crew them all. And that's a massive issue. So yeah, limit yourself to one. And it's like Algared said, he's able to buy stuff in game now, and that's going to become more and more common. I just don't think you need to outlay as much cash as we have over the years anymore. It's definitely a thing of the past.
A lot of people who are whales, they go back to 2014, 2015, 2012. Part of their purchases were to fund the game.
Yeah.
Like that was the key reason of why they were doing it. And I know when a certain narky person with initials DS used to get on and rant and rave, that in a sense he probably did more for me to back Star Citizen than anything else, because I'd go, here, they're going broke, are they? Well, I better buy a ship.
Riled you up, Algared. The old
yeah. But but you don't need more than a ship.
No.
The fact that you can buy ships in game.
Even getting to that point too, Algared, where even the profession starters are cheap enough now. You can get one of those instead, type of thing. You don't need like a prospector. But I think medium is going to be the sweet spot for this game, like all round. A smaller number of crew, but it scales up. So medium, large are going to be the two more popular sizes. But I think medium is probably going to take the crown. We'll see. We'll see if I'm wrong.
Yep.
Give me time. We've got a first-time chatter in Twitch called Smarty Raunchy 343 who says, "This will be my first AIE. I already have some CCUs in place. Question: do you think there will be an opportunity to buy the RSI Astra?" Absolutely. It'll be on the very first day, in fact, because it's RSI Day. So you'll be able to buy that on the first day. Last year it was $575. I expect it to be the same this year, but I'd also like to throw out there the Orion is 6 times the size and it's only $75 extra. So think about making the jump to that, and earning down to the Arastra is something that if you want to think about the long-term investment, and it's maximum of 6 crew on the Arastra, and the Orion is 5 to 8, so they're not that different in crew size. Yes, you can go down to planet with the Arastra, and you can't do that with the Orion. But think about it: if you buy one and it's 6 times the size, how quickly can you earn down to the Arastra? Fairly quickly, a lot quicker than you can go from the Arastra up to the Orion.
Not to mention, the Orion actually gives you, several ships as replacement because it's not available. So
loaners as well. So right now I've got an Orion and I have a Mole and a Prospector. And I would I don't know if it gives you a Golem, because I actually own a Golem right now. But I fully expect when the Arastra drops, that'll be the loaner for the Orion.
I've got to say that who was it said? Someone on YouTube was saying that Dragatalon says
very awkward word for you to repeat there 3 times and pause them. But yeah, go ahead.
Whales equal more ships than you can ever fly, and all with LTI. Woohoo!
Yeah.
I'm not a whale because I bought a Nursa, which doesn't have LTI. There you go.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that some of the sillier whales don't have LTI. There was a guy on one of the Facebook groups the other week trying to sell a Perseus with 12 months insurance, and nobody wanted it. It was just like, well, why would I buy that off you when I can wait until it comes out and get it with LTI? Like, that's what people were saying.
Or buy off someone else who's got an LTI token and CC up to it. So it was just a little weird. Anyway. Yeah, indeed. Anyway, so moving on. Mornstar.
Gee, what Peaceful Pete said about you? I'm not a whale. My yacht only has 1 helipad. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. Right. Go ahead, Algared, sorry.
My 890 jump can fit 3 arrows. It's not a whale. Monstar 4578 says, when do you think they will sell bespoke energy weapons for the Perseus?
That's the same one we just did. I think
we already did this.
We forgot to tick it off, mate.
Okay.
Senior moment. It's okay.
Probably never. T8861 says, how do you justify the stances of people bad marketing equals people stop funding when CIG keeps making more money each year?
Because there's always new people coming in. Right, and I think that's the other thing that AIE will show you as well. This sale is not really for us as veterans. Why do you reckon the preview's been the clip of the last 3 weeks? Because that's the only ship that's new that veterans would be interested in. Right, none of us are going to buy like a SAR salvage when we own a reclaimer, but it's all the new people that are coming in. They're always tailored at the new people because the old people are so kind of already brought all their ships. They very rarely want a new one, and then the only ones that we're really interested in, like the big capitals and stuff like that. So it's always they're all for new people. Even Invictus is the same. The fact that the CCUs are kind of slowly drying up because that's all they had for us older people. Oh, we can get it at a discount. So that's it.
Oh, there you go. We've got 2,200 followers on Twitch.
Oh, nice. And I mean, tracking that. Good to know.
We hit a tracker mark.
Didn't have to track. Considering we stream 1 day a week for 3 hours, I think that's pretty good.
I agree.
And we've been, what was this, 2 years now? Maybe just a bit over 2 years.
Yeah, about that.
2 years. So yeah, we I don't know. We did it more convenience because I've had a few people ask us to do kick as well. I'm not sure about that, but I don't know. I'd have to see if there's an audience there for kick, but maybe.
Yeah, I think I'll be more excited when we hit 18K on YouTube. That's just me, but
yeah, that'll be a landmark for us. We probably may hit that around the end of this year, actually. So that'll be kind of cool.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, we're only about I think we're about 120 away, something like that. We're not too far away from that, so that's totally possible by the end of the year.
But hitting those big landmarks or bigger landmarks on YouTube is probably for us has a bigger impact than than Twitch. Although Twitch is nice.
You know, though we feel like a smaller channel, even though where we're at now, it actually, one of the things they told us is we are in the top 10% of people on YouTube. That's crazy to think that there's so many channels out there that are smaller than that. I didn't realize it was that way, but it kind of makes logical sense.
And we're top 10%, and we're small. We're tiny.
Well, that's what I think. Well, even in Star Citizen terms, like look at Space Tomato. I think Space Tomato is almost at 80k. That's 4 times the size of what we are in subscriber base, but he is an onboarder, so I expect that. But yeah.
Malcolm Den.
Yep.
There you go, Malcolm. Good to see you. What do you think is holding up night vision on planetary surfaces? This feature will be such a huge quality of life, but question is why we don't have it yet.
Priority.
Yep. Man, I get frustrated by the fact that nighttime you can't see crap. Like you're flying in a ship, you can't see anything. Lights don't light up the ground. Nothing. It's worse.
I think when FPS scanning comes in, that'll help a little bit because you can at least be able to ping and see stuff. So that'll probably stop.
But when it's worse than being outside on a moonless night, it's a worry.
Almost expecting you to break out in the song there, Algared. When a moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, it's amore. That's the way you were saying it. On a moon,
but it really is a frustration, and I can't wait for the things that make nighttime less the black.
Yeah.
Malemba says, does engineering change ship recommendations to the extent where smaller ships will now be better daily drivers for the casual player, with larger ships being for special orc group use?
Yes and no. It basically makes it so that you've probably got less work to do engineering wise on a single seater, but it's going to break down quicker because you can't repair anything on the go, so to speak. You've got to kind of stop, and if you've got to stop and you're already under attack, or you're just dead. You know, Piggles, have you had a chance to jump in and try engineering? And Piggles has fallen asleep.
And Piggles is gone.
Yeah,
there was another question that was related to that. In fact, Piss Poor Pete, that's the one who had the question. With engineering around the corner, does the age-old advice of buy big and earn down change at all?
I don't think it does. And not from a value proposition.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I was going to say.
If anything, aren't you getting more ship because you're getting more engineering with a bigger ship?
More gameplay.
You can do more for more people. It's just how you look at it. Like you're looking at it like, I don't like engineering, but then that's not the role you do on that ship. But someone's going to love engineering, and I already know some people that do. So yeah.
But I get where he's coming from in terms of it means, I can't take my Idris and fly it solo and rule the roost. Well, you should never be able to do that in an Idris anyway. It's supposed to be a multi-crew ship.
So mostly Beef says, I think it does. It's harder to earn down. No, not really. It's just more people. It's no different from what it was. You've got to, so the thing that makes it harder, right? If I'm doing something on my, what the hell happened to my camera there?
I don't know.
Oh, it's back. I didn't even turn it off. Is on my own, I don't have to deal with Algared, right? As an example, say if it's just me and Algared. But as soon as I work with Algared, right? Now Algared could be doing the engineering. I've got more that I can focus on. So if I'm the better driver and the better shooter, I do that, and Algared's running around fixing stuff because he might be better at that. You can concentrate and focus more on something that you're better at. So you are sharing the load, and in doing so, you will get more rewards.
Yep. It goes back to the mission that mining
Hi, John.
FPS mission. You know, John and you were doing the mining, and the other guys were doing the combat.
Yep.
And you were able to highlight each other's benefits and achieve quicker.
So just for people, what Algared's talking about, I took John along with Voidy Vids and Voidy Vids group of people. We're doing the Hathor mining site. Me and John are down in the hole doing the mining, and they were essentially covering us while we were getting all the goods out for everyone. And it would just
now John would say that he was doing the mining and X was getting in the way, but same point.
Yeah, but it really, I think they got an appreciation for each other's group. It was really interesting to see. Just like I think they had a moment when they kind of went, okay, so this is what the game could be. This is how we can play together for mutual benefit. And it really highlighted it for me. Because the PvP is kind of went, oh well, anyone can mine, but they couldn't mine half as efficiently as John could, right?
Yeah, John just goes bang,
by the same token, like John would see them like just taking people out like this, and he's like, whoa, they're really good at killing people. So they kind of went, oh shit, we can play to our strengths, and together we're stronger. And that's what I'm trying to get. So if you get the right people in the right ship, you're all doing the thing that you're really good at. But together, you're stronger because you've got the best people flying, the best person shooting, the best person doing the engineering, not a guy that's doing all things, that's a jack of all trades. And it's the same thing in life. It's exactly the same. You take the person that's better at it, and if everyone's doing what that's best at, then you're a better crew than that person that's alone.
And it picks up the other one where, you went out with the guys on the Idris were fully crewed.
Yep.
And the fully crewed Idris wipe the floor of the half-crewed Idrises and Polaris and other things.
Yeah, 2 Polarises and 2 Idrises, and we took them all out in 1 fully crewed Idris. Yeah.
And so it's all of those types of things. Now, mostly Beef is right. Most people just consider it in terms of, it screws up my solo gameplay.
Yep.
And it does. It makes it harder for you to take your massive multi-crew ship and do it solo. But you shouldn't be taking it at Idris and doing it solo.
But if you take it out, look at from a value proposition, right? So let's use the Reclaimer example because that's a good one, right? If you look at just the cargo alone in the Vulture to the Reclaimer, you need 16 Vultures to get to the cargo of the Reclaimer, right? So I'm just using one metric. You can use other ones, but SCUs is a good one, right? But again, it's literally 2.5 Vultures to actually buy a Reclaimer. So it's far cheaper to buy the Reclaimer. And Algared will tell you, you can take out a Reclaimer right now and you can struggle like a motherfucker, but you can do missions. You can do it solo. And the amount of money you earn, very quickly, you can use that money to buy a Vulture.
And it's even more nuanced than that, because in the Vulture, you go to a ship, you can't salvage all the stuff.
Yep.
You get an Eclipse. You can't salvage the torpedoes because they don't fit in your Vulture.
Yep.
You take a Reclaimer, you can salvage your torpedoes, the components, and everything else. And you actually can do a lot more.
And you would do it in a high security area, so it's safer to be on your own. You would struggle through, right? You probably wouldn't want to do it all the time. Like, so say an example of the person gave of the Arastra. Now, if he prefers the Arastra, you'd be doing just enough missions in game so you could go buy the Arastra and then drop back to the Arastra. But what we're talking about is the saving of real world dollars, right? The opportunity to then go back to that Orion at any point and earn into another ship. So say I was saying, you've done all this work in the Arastra and all of a sudden you've decided you want to work, whatever that large orange salvager is, right? Say it's not out yet, right? Oh, I want that now. How long do you reckon it's going to take to go from the Arastra to that, from an Orion to that? That's what we're talking about as a value proposition. It allows you to go back to a ship and very quickly earn money and go to anything that you want. That's what we're talking about. Though it might not even be the gameplay you want all the time. And you don't need every single big ship. That's only if you're going to buy a bit of everything like some of us have, right? It's still better value to buy that large capital ship because it's like buying every ship underneath it. It really is. Because you get them as loaners. 2, you can just do a couple of missions in game and get them. Any MMO in existence, you go from a level 60 zone, like let's take World of Warcraft as an example I give all the time. Level 60 in World of Warcraft, you'd go back to a level 20 zone and it'd be like hitting them with tissue paper. You just hit them once and they'd fall over dead. But when you were there, at level 20, it was a struggle. It was the same as being level 60 in a 60 zone. It was the same. It's the same strength all the way up. But as soon as you go back to a lower level zone, you realize how powerful you are because you can just group them all together and kill 100 of them. It's the same analogy. You're taking the Orion and it is overkill, but yes, you are struggling on your own to get it through. And even then, what if you only take 2 people? As soon as you take one other person, you're still improving how efficient that large capital can run, and you share the money with that person as well. Might take you twice as long all of a sudden, but you're both earning at a much quicker rate than you would if you were in a vulture on your own.
Yeah, it's
or whatever the starter ship is. Yeah.
But I think the other one really comes in for the big ship and earn down is if you're, it's the idea of what you're paying cash for.
Yeah.
So the vulture versus the reclaimer are classic examples of that. But it's even more than so, because we know that CIG have always said prices are going to go up.
Yeah.
Prices are continually going to go up. And one of the things they used to say back in 2014 and earlier was that, you should be able to get a constellation with about a month of average gameplay.
Yeah.
But getting a Idris would be, it's like buying like difference by buying a sedan today and buying an aircraft carrier. That's the type of thing they're looking at in the price gap.
I think from an engineering perspective, you're not going to be able to, if you're in a larger capital ship and you're solo, you're not going to want to push it because you're not going to want to cause engineering fires or damage. So if I kind of sit here and think about a single player trying to run a capital ship that's designed, say, for 5 to 8 people, you are going to have to manage the engineering a bit. But again, like I said, if you had just one other crew member and their job's the engineering and your
then
job
expand the gameplay you can do.
Yeah, you still even if the ship is full of crew, you're still going to make more money in an Orion, as an example, than you would in an Astra, because that's how it's scaled. That's just how it's scaled. Capitals will make more money than a large. It's just that way inclined. But every person you can drop off that ship, the quicker you're going to earn. The quicker and quicker you're going to earn. So yeah.
Well, and mostly, but the reason was they don't buy fighters, and I know you said Execute tell people don't buy fighters. I tell people don't buy fighters because they're not worth it. You'd be better off buying, if you're looking at buying a single small ship, you're probably better off buying a cargo hauler.
Well, again, why would you want to?
Depends on.
Hang on. Why the hell would you want to buy a fighter? It's the same thing. I go out in my Orion, I do one mission, I'll have enough money to buy a fighter. The point is null and void, beef.
And it's the same as buying, even buying the starter industry ships. It's the same problem.
Just buy them in game.
Yep.
Buy them in game. I literally talked about this at CitizenCon, like not this year but last. It's literally just buy it in game, bro. They are overpriced for what they are. They are exceptionally overpriced.
Yep. And I get people saying I don't want to take out a big ship. I'm fine.
Well, the Orion's not out, right? So I can't utterly sit there and say with absolute confidence that you can do an Orion solo, right? But let's take the Reclaimer. You can do that right now. Now you add engineering into the mix. I think it'll be a little bit tougher. I'll agree with you on that, right? But again, if you don't push the ship, not a problem. But I'll tell you this, if you've got to add a second person for engineering, there's your problem. It's disappeared. So you might have to have one extra crew count to make it easier. But again, if you don't push the ship too hard and you stay in a high security area where you're safe, you shouldn't have any problems. The point, what you're arguing with us over is the multiplier, is what you're arguing with us over. And what we're saying is it might be 5 currently and it's going to go to 4 or 3. There's still a multiplier there. Yeah. That's what you're arguing semantics. That's what I'm trying to get at. Anyway, I'm gonna let it go there. Yeah.
No, we wouldn't shame you, like Blade. By the way, you got lots of fighters. Fine, that's what you want. But
yeah, that's up to you. We are only ever suggesting what you should do. We're never telling you what to do. We've never had a person on Fix My Fleet ever complain. Because it's not us telling them, it's only ever suggestions. And you'll also find when we do a Fix My Fleet, we go, what did you end up doing? What do you want to do? Right? So it's entirely up to them. They can either take the advice on board or not. And we've had people come along and they don't take the advice. That's up to them.
And the big difference is that advice is if you're, people will often say, well, I've got all these fighters, but I want to get this ship. And you say, well, why don't you get rid of these ships? Or which ones aren't you flying? And I don't fly that. Why have you still got them?
Pretty much an intervention. It's pretty much what they are. They're just interventions. Because people and we've had people come along and they go, "Oh, my favorite ship is X," and they've got 20 ships and none of them is that. It's like, what?
Yep.
This is crazy, you know? So sometimes people have just, like, again, when you've brought ships over almost 15 years, it's almost like a bit of a spring cleaning and cleaning out the closet and a bit of an intervention. So, yeah. All right.
Yeah. So Malemba asked a question. If you have 2 F8s, are you going to get 2 skins? No, I believe it's just 1 skin per account.
I don't know about that one. I honestly don't know.
So that's what I've heard. But and I know on certain cases, certainly with loaner ships, you get 1 loaner ship even if you've got 2. You know, if you've got 2 Orions, you only get 1 set of loaners. You don't get 2 sets of loaners. So I'm assuming that's the same case for the skins. Symbol says Nautilus Fabricator to build drones is on Spectrum. Naruhiru raised that as an option, and the issue is that ideas get buried on there. Not sure if CIG reads through them, but CIG do read through them.
I can't read it through. I can't read everything though, so they might miss something. And again, that's a bigger problem with Spectrum. You can't downvote things, so things come up. That's my biggest problem with Spectrum, and until it changes,
but they do troll through, you know, not only Spectrum their own platform, but Twitch and you know, watch Twitch channels and YouTube and attend you know, the other sites like wikis and other places. So yeah.
Symbol. Oh, was that the one Symbol just said? Yeah, okay. Here Alex says, if you have had to make an educated guess, how much cargo would you expect the RSI Hermes to have if it was 1 pure cargo, 2 data rhino / cargo hybrid? We did sit there and kind of roughly work it out, didn't we?
At one point we did.
And it was like, we worked, there was a thing where we worked out it was exactly the length of the 32 SU cargo container, and it would go from the back, from the front to the back, and then I think we worked it was about 3 on one side and then 3 on another, and I said, what if you stacked another one on top of it? So it was like, this is really rough math, right? I'm going to do the calculator. I know you guys can't see it, but it was like, so it would have been 12 times 32, which is 384, which is ironically the same size as the whole B. So, yeah.
Now, Mean Bean clearly does not watch our previous videos. Because Mean Bean says, will there ever be a Fix My Fleet where you guys, Execute and Algared, discuss your fleets?
Yeah. We probably need to do an updated one. It has been a few
We probably
years
do need an update, but there are actually, I think there's one for Paul, there's one for Space, I think there's certainly one for you and me.
There's even ones for people like Sear the Six and stuff like that, so that were around, you know, back then that have kind of dropped off from Inforunners. But yeah, they're there.
But yeah, so
I think the only one we haven't done is Loken, actually.
Yeah.
I have to get around to one for Loken.
Yeah, and he's a hard man to track down.
Yeah, well, he didn't turn up for Invictus, and I haven't heard back from him about AIE, so yeah.
Yep. Hiralex 782 says, would an RSI Hermes built on the Apollo chassis be conceivably modular? Twin cargo modules, twin data, possible?
We actually have talked about that. It's entirely possible. Entirely. It just...
Yep.
What they want to do.
Yep. Symbol says, I think the Perseus visual look is fine. Why is no one mentioning that the half-baked ship that was Polaris quite different from concept?
I think the Perseus visually looks fine. Why is no one mentioning that the half-baked ship that was the Polaris quite different from the concept I modded?
Yep.
I don't know. I find the Polaris is, yeah, it looks more greebly than it did in the concept a little bit too, but it is still relatively the same. I don't think it's as drastic a change from the Polaris to the final one as the Perseus to the final one. Mainly the armor, I think.
Yeah.
That catches me up on it. Yeah, but
I've got to admit, I'm not a fan of the Polaris. I don't like it. I don't know what it is about it, but I just don't like it. Maybe if they wet their beds. I don't know. Dorm.
Whoa. You can't drop a comment like that and just move. Wet their beds?
Monty Python.
I don't know.
Bookshop skit. Come on.
I've never seen that shit. Right, whatever. Next.
uneducated, see what I have to put up with. See what I have to put up with.
Yeah, they do see what I have to put up with. Right.
Dawn, when will we see a freelancer, the freelancer rework? It's been 84 years. It has not been 84 years.
They did a rework of it only a few years ago, like in 2020 or something.
Yeah. Well, it's got light panels on the doors.
It'll probably get one after Squadron because it's in Squadron.
It'll get something for engineering.
They've already done that. They've already put the components in the back.
Yeah.
So, but if they give it an update, it'll be after Squadron because it's in it. Same with the Reclaimer and the Starfarer, like all those ships, because they have nav meshes for the AI in them and stuff like that. It's a lot of work to redo them. So they kind of want to keep them current while they're in Squadron, and then they'll make them like a Mark. I don't know if they'll make them Mark IIs or what. I got no idea, but it's a priority. It's just not a priority as long as they're in Squadron and they're working, and they're not really working on SC. There's no real to change at the moment. We'll see.
So people are saying in chat that the Polaris did get a big change because they reworked it for the remote for the missiles too. But yeah.
What? Sorry, they remote.
Well, with the Perseus, the Polaris, sorry, they did make drastic changes to make the on the nose to make the torpedoes and missiles work. So, or make the missiles work.
I guess I never noticed it. Okay. I don't know. Maybe it's something I just missed.
I certainly don't like the feel. There's something I don't like about it. Can't put my finger on it.
I think the greebles are too thick on the Polaris. I think it's the same problem I'm seeing on the Perseus. I'll give you that. Like they over greebleified the Perseus. They're really thick greebles. But since it came out, they went back and dialed back the greebling. They did. They dialed it back. They lessened it. I just think they need to do that a lot more on the Perseus. It needs to be brought way back to that plated look, because it just doesn't look as aggressive as it did. But I don't want to go over that again because I feel like we talked about it the cows came home.
Yeah, and like when I talk about not liking the Polaris, I know a lot of people have said they don't like the Polaris because the pilot has no weapons. I don't care that the pilot has no weapons. It's like if I take out an Idris, I usually take the main gun off, unless I'm doing multi-crew with it, because I shouldn't be having weapons as a pilot. It just seems nuts to me. But there's something about the Polaris. I just don't know what it is. I just don't like the feel of it. Maybe it's just not a ship for me. Bodyboarder 2528 says, do you think bounty hunting will come in the next year or two?
I think it's sooner rather than later. Essentially, you could tell that a lot of things got delayed for base building and stuff like that. Like bounty hunting, they showed off and it was ready to go. What was the other thing they showed off around bounty hunting? There's two professions, and I'm trying to remember what the other one was. And they literally said it was coming at the end of the year. Yeah. And that was in April that year. And it's now been like 2.5 years since that. Yeah. So it's probably more than ready to go. It was clearly planned with the mark and stuff like that. I think it's just some other things that have come in, like probably server meshing and base building. And it's just dropped in the priority order. I think that's where I'm at with it. I don't know about you, Algared.
I think server meshing certainly comes into it, because you'll remember when they first showed us server meshing, it was very much that first-person shootery type, walking through buildings type, where I was showing that working. But yeah, it's I wonder whether it is server meshing and scanning and those things held it up, and whether scanning as they were looking at server meshing, that slowed down scanning, which meant they couldn't put it in the way they wanted, which meant they slowed down everything else. So Piss Poor Pete decided to give you a compliment on your glasses. Look at Mr. Fancy Pants with his Robert Downey Jr. glasses.
These are I haven't worn these in probably 12 months, but they're blue light glasses, and they up the light. These lights are really strong that me and Algared sit under, and they just sting like a bitch after a while. And I don't know, 2 hours I'm just starting to feel it. I don't know why. Normally I'm fine, but just today I'm feeling it. So I thought if I put on the glasses, I even turned down the lights a little bit. But these other big ones that me and Algared have, after we brought them, it turns out there's a lot of people complain because they're still too bright on their lower setting. Like there's literally 100%. You can go to every single percent, We run them on 1% and they're still too bright. So I don't know. I don't want to buy new ones because there's nothing actually wrong with them. I just want to find a way to kind of turn them down a little bit, and maybe I'll get some cellophane or something put over them to diffuse them down.
That's true. We at the end of every stream, it's like lights off. Oh,
yeah. It's like as soon as we end, it's just like lights off. All right, now we can talk. Yeah. See you again. Because your eyeballs are just burned from the feel like where were you on the night of the 5th? What did you do? Right. You know, it's a bit like an interrogation for 3 hours. Yeah.
It can be a bit like that, but yeah. Robert Voles' question is whether or not the Perseus has the power for a very large lasers or beam weapon. And that's true. If you want to put beam weapons on the Perseus, or even up the gun level even higher, it's that the problem you're going to have with ships like that are the power supply. And that's a question for whether you could put beam weapons on or lasers on, and but I kind of hope you can, because that thing gives player choice.
Yeah.
And how you play the game. Chris always used to say he wants you to play the game your way. Putting lasers on a ship that's underpowered may not be the best choice, but yeah.
All right.
Smarty Rush 343 says
we did that one.
That's the one we did before. I just noticed that.
Yep.
Digile says, or DL Guile says, or Giles says, what thought on getting the pistol? What your thought on letting pistols be attached to your backpack? Be nice to use them, but having a med gun is too nice. Sad just taking rifles and med guns.
I can't see why if you want to give up a primary weapon slot for a pistol, yeah, sure, why not? I don't have a problem with that. If you want to downgrade yourself, you know.
If you take a multi-tool, like your little handheld multi-tool, and turn it into and use the med gun attachment, you can, if you don't use your med gun, take a pistol. So multi-tool and pistol can be used together.
Technically true. We got a first-time chatter on Twitch, Canonless. For some reason the bot didn't pick up their question, but it is here. It says, question, has there been any talk of weapons having at least one area of effect on the ground? It gets annoying when I strafe some dudes outside of a bunker with size 4s and land shots between their feet, but don't do any damage. Has there been any talk of weapons having at least a little area of effect on the ground?
Like a shock effect that knocks them over, that type of thing.
Okay.
Nice.
The only one I can think of is like that new rocket launcher that does the Volt weapons, but that's not on the ground.
Yeah. But I get where he's coming from. Like, you know, you shoot at guys with size 4s, you hit them, and then 2 seconds later they stand back up again because you haven't done enough damage to them. So I get where he's coming, and even the idea, you know, you're firing and they're standing between wherever 2 bolts are landing, and it does nothing to them.
So Pete, in reply to what you're saying about the med tool, says the multi-tool doesn't allow you to adjust the medication though. But you could get around that too by just taking the med pens. It's the only one I really find.
Multi-tool.
The only one I think I've found that I ever really need is the orange one. So if you just took a couple of orange med pens and the multi-tool med kit, I think you'd be fine. And the orange one's the one that makes it so you can still move like normal when you've got a stuffed arm or leg or a head wound. So yeah, just take a couple of orange ones and you'll be fine. So you're gonna have to start making compromises. That's a part of the play.
That's right. Yeah. Personally, I take multi-tool and the med gun, but you know.
Oh, so he's talking about weapons for ships. Well, they did talk about different weapons from ships. So they've talked about different ammo types like flak and stuff like that. I think you'll probably find more about that. In fact, if I start to think about the weapons and weapon types, if they were to come at the sale, it'd be on the first day with a Perseus because of the different ammo types. That makes sense all of a sudden. Yeah. So if we're going to hear about new weapons, maybe that's where it's coming in, is with the Perseus. We'll have to wait and see. But I think that's where I'd hope it comes straight away with its different weapon types straight off the bat.
But yes, I did understand where Canonless was coming from, because I've experienced the same frustration.
It was me that didn't understand.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but Blade explained it. Thanks, Lucky. Sorry, I'm just a bit feeling it today for some reason. I'm just a bit a light spot to me. Yeah.
Citizen Craft Method. Sorry, Citizen Crafty Method says Cat in Space on Thunder, homage to Kitten Space Agency Alpha that launched yesterday. No.
It's part Kilrathi, but mostly my cat Jax.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, Jax in space, but it is I see him like a little Kilrathi, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, the Kilrathi are basically the Vandal of Wing Commander. And in Wing Commander, there was one Kilrathi who served on with the UE effectively, or the equivalent, and his name was Hobbs. So, but yeah. Michael Taylor 4197. Do you think CIG will sell an Expo based? Sorry, sell an X based off the Vandal capital ships? Probably not. Nightbot, right? No, we don't need Nightbot. That's just our bot.
Yep. Sorry, I'm just.
Yep.
Saying something in the background. Hang on.
Sorry. All right. So Michael Taylor's question was based on Asperia, rather than a Asperia version of a Vandal capture.
Right.
Probably not.
Maybe eventually one day down the road, but.
It would fit with their. They would certainly be trying to get the blueprints for that, because that's part of their modus operandi. They gather blueprints. They're basically the library for blueprints of old ships, and
okay,
that's what they like to do. That's an insult.
Yep.
You guys enjoying the last few days of your sleep? Yep.
Yeah, I'm already worried about tomorrow. I'm just saying I'm worried about tomorrow because I got to get up at 7 a.m. to do captain's table.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a bit worried about that.
And that, by the way, was our last question.
Actually, I got some more because I think whenever Piggles disappeared, bot kind of died, and I returned on the old bot. And if you flick back over to the stream questions on ours, there's about another 10. But it looks like we're going to be able to end early today, which will be good.
Oh, that's a radical concept.
Yeah, this almost never happens.
Right, so we got that one done.
Yep.
And that one done. Symbol says, how does the MSR fare in 2025?
It needs some. It's a little rough around the edges. Probably needs a bit of love. We'll see. I think when it gets another gold pass, you know what, Algared?
What?
That's a can we fix it?
It is. Can we fix it?
Yeah.
I have to say, I have taken out my 890 jump more than I've taken out my MSR.
Yeah, I think we'll add that to the list.
Can we fix it?
Yeah, we'll do I think we've just rolled them on just ship scrutiny now, but I think we'll do a ship scrutiny on that.
Yeah.
And
well, that's what a can we fix it is, really, isn't it?
Yeah. It'll yeah, we'll do a re-review on that one. I reckon that'll be a good candidate. Yeah, that time.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Joel says, first off, you all made fun of me for years ago, suggesting a smaller iron ship, small ship with single big gun. Then the Intrepid came out. Do you all think we'll get a Grey's iron mashup? Don't think we made fun of you, and
we probably had a laugh. Yeah. Anyway, and it really isn't that different. It's just a size. What is it? Size 4. It's not really, you know. And I don't think it's the last we've seen in the Intrepid. Wait until it comes along. I think you'll find that there's a variant or two for that thing coming.
I think the only thing I really complain about of those ships with a single big gun kind of bespoke was the fact that I always thought that was kind of Kruger's cup of tea with their P-52.
Clearly not.
But purely not.
Yeah.
But that was always my beef.
As for a mashup with the Iron or in Ares or in Iron, absolutely think that's totally possible. Essentially, if you look at the Shiv, it is literally a cargo-based Hurricane in every single way. The guns are exactly the same. It's just like it's partially Hurricane body, Cutlass, Freelancer, and Valkyrie, just all mashed together. So I wouldn't rule anything out. That's one of the cool things about Grey Market. You can sit there and think of all these cool combinations that would work. So yeah, wouldn't rule it.
Yep.
Rule it out in the slightest.
So Parker XGPS says, should we lose confidence in the loaners of the future? Because and he's basically saying they don't make sense. So we still have no Apollo for the Endeavour. We get a Cuddy Red. We still have no Idris for the Kraken.
Probably gonna
list.
They probably just haven't got around to updating them properly. They tend to do a really big overhaul. I think it's at the start or at the end of the year. So they kind of give you rough ones as you go through, and then they do a big sweeping thing. To give you an example, C Daddy was here last week, and he was kind enough to answer a couple of questions about the back end. And one of the things he pointed out was the ship loaner matrix. He can only really update that because it's so manually intensive. He can only update it once or twice a year. And it would be
game packs.
And I have to imagine it's exactly the same for the loaner matrix.
Yep. And you know, they were saying, you know, when they do the game packs and they create the game packs, it's not a matter of just going, oh yeah, we'll take that. Every item has to be added in one at a time. Manually. They need tools.
Yep.
Atzilla Star Citizen says, I know you've been disappointed with the amount of variants, but what is a variant of a currently released ship you would like to see released?
Ooh.
Soonish.
Good one. Speak up if you've got one. I'm gonna have to think about this one for a little minute. Variant or a ship? Well, probably have to be
the Starlancer build. That'd be one I'd like to see soonish.
Yeah, I think isn't he saying that one that we make up though? Isn't that what he's kind of implying? Like something that.
Okay. Yep. If the ship would like to see. Ooh.
I don't think it's possible for kind of what I want in a weird way. So the only medium ship that I kind of own is the C1, right? And the main reason I have it is it's just a really good daily driver. It's quick. It's my A to B ship. It carries a good, decent amount of cargo, but like not as much as say a drastic amount. And I just always thought it'd be kind of cool if there was like a Freelancer Max version of the Spirit. But how do you do that? Right? Like there's just not enough room in that ship to make it longer. Do you see where I'm going? So
it's a Freelancer Supermax.
Yeah. Well, the only way I could think of doing it is essentially where that neck is you kind of go into that and have the cargo in the neck. And then where do you put all the components? And how much extra cargo are you going to get for that? You see where I'm going, right? Like it just creates issues. But I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough one for me because I kind of know any variant that you and I would come up with that already have something in the grid to put there anyway, or planning to.
I know the variant that I would love to see, and it's one we talked about when the Furies came out.
Oh yeah,
a Starfarer as a mothership.
Or just a mothership in general that takes Furies would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Adam717, thank you for the subscription with the Prime.
Yeah. So I always like the idea of the
hang on, Lemming. Hang on. Go ahead, Algared.
I always like the idea of the of having 3 Furies on each side of a Starfarer, and you go out on the gangplank, get in and drop out and fly back, and
Wouldn't it be
But
4?
yeah, that would be my
Wouldn't it be
variant, but I'd
4?
love to see.
Because you got the refinery and then 3 containers, so it'd be 4 on each side.
Isn't it two containers and a refinery? Well, either way, but
I remembered it wrong.
3 or 4
maybe I'm
on
wrong.
each
Maybe I'm
side.
wrong. We're arguing semantics, but yeah, I get
I'd probably go 3 each side regardless, just because I think 4 of each side would be too many Furies to have on that ship.
Grim did a really cool show during the week. He's been doing these lost concept streams where he's been going back into the jump points and showing off all the concepts. I think at some point we might go do that too and talk about it.
Yep.
One of the ones that was really interesting was they showed the Fury concepts, and one of them was literally like a mini Starfarer. So it had like the shoulder, the shoulder vents. Yep. Yeah, and then it was like this giant bubble. It was really kind of interesting. But you can see there's been like some kind of pivotal shift where they've turned it into Mirai, and that's where Mirai's coming. But like, yeah, some of them was just like literally like a guy on a bike and he's in a bubble. It's just nuts.
I would love a Starfarer dropship for Furies, or mothership for Furies.
Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, I think some of the ship designs, like I'm really interested in the mysteries of seeing how the Clipper turns out, like how that works and stuff. I wanted more things like the Reliant. Like I was a big fan of the ship from Lost in Space, that kind of bubble thing, and it swang right around itself. I think we could be in for some really interesting ships down the line. Like, for example, if you look at the Clipper and all of a sudden you start to think about that there's no medium fighter, there's no heavy fighter from Drake, and you start putting the Corsair and Clipper vibes in there, you kind of go, shit, that could be really damn interesting. So I censored myself there. But yeah. Sorry, Lemming. You were going to say, mate.
Yeah, I'd like a Zeus or ship that either refines or refuels.
A Zeus refiner and refueler.
Or refueler. Yeah.
The reason I would struggle with that one, I might give you the refiner, but the refueler, where are the containers going to go? Where are the think about, do you remember when the RAF first came out, they had that variant that had the big containers on it and stuff like that, the concept images? The Starfarer's got big containers, so every kind of refueler has that kind of container vibe. So how are you going to apply that look, that industrial look, to a Zeus?
You give up the internal cargo.
But that it doesn't have an industrial look. That's my point. You've essentially taken a civilian ship and you're giving it an industrial use, right? So my point being, right, the industrial ships from RSI are the Arastra and the Orion. So you're talking about making the Zeus into an industrial ship. So fundamentally, it's a new ship. That's my problem with that idea. I shit on your idea, but I'm shitting on your idea.
I could see if you look at the lore, because we don't know what as humanity went into space in the lore. We don't know what variants of ships we had. We do know the Zeus was one of the first that could do the long jumps.
But if you took the Zeus aesthetic, right? So say you took the top area of the Zeus and you had containers underneath it or something like that, I could totally see an early refinery, early fuel hauler that had Zeus, Arastra, Orion vibes, like combo it up a bit. I could totally see that as a thing, but I don't think you could make a variant of the Zeus, because it just wouldn't work from the non-industrial perspective.
And in Twitch chat, they are saying Luckblade says the containers on a Vulcan. The back has cargo area, but the problem with that is the Vulcan's not been built yet. So
but it's still a variant. So the Vulcan would work better than the Zeus.
In terms of containers, it'll get something, and it's using drones and but
I don't think it needs to have I don't think fuel needs to necessarily be on the outside of the ship.
So then it's just a cargo container. And they have actually said you can just put fuel in a cargo container and take it in your ship. So literally just take your Zeus CL.
So
the point, I'm not trying to I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm saying it to do it from how CIG would look at it, right? The Zeus is a civilian ship, and they've clearly talked about how the Arastra and the Orion are not getting made because they're a different style that they haven't tackled yet.
Yep.
a refueler is industrial, just like that Orion and the Arastra. So it falls into the same problem. It's not the same style as the Zeus, and that's what I'm trying to get you to get you to see. Mostly Beef says, I want a large Connie type ship that instead of a snub drops a Zeus suit like a helipod. Would be pretty cool, actually. A Zeus one-off. Be really good for the Aquila, actually, as like an explorer suit instead of but then you can't go in space as well. Damn. Or just a module that allows it to adapt. You can take a Zeus suit or you can take a Merlin. It'd be kind of cool. I can get behind that.
I'll still pick up some of the points being made about the Vulcan. Vulcan's not in game yet, hasn't been built. So we don't know where it's going to be reconcepted. So
hang on, let's have a look. Let's bring up an image because it's been a long time.
Yes, and we know there's stuff on it in the cutaways on the RSI site, but it's still a ship that's not in game yet. It hasn't been built.
Let's have a look, Algared. I'll bring us across. So here is the Vulcan. I'm just going to turn off that one because Pickles is not here anymore. Let's have a look. There's not really any external containers.
No, there's nothing that indicates it's got fuel pods or anything like that.
These would be, you'd be kind of, if you made these cylinders, that'd be taken off the drone ports, but that could work.
Yep.
You take off these drone ports and put some fuel canisters there.
Aren't those doors?
Yeah, they're doors. They're doors for the drones. They're like so essentially the drone operators stand here. Like I'll see if I can find an internal shot.
But my understanding of the Vulcan's drone pods was the fact that you've had the drones loaded up and you took them out and did whatever and then had to refill, and you didn't have really the bulk stuff to do stuff because it was so small.
But considering it already does refueling, I actually thinking a variant that carries fuel is not a terrible idea.
No.
Just remove this drone thing and put like a container there of some description, and there you go. So it's essentially switching drones for fuel transport, and the ship would work for that because it's already industrial.
And they're saying underneath the drone bay, there seems to be something there as well.
Underneath the drone bay.
Yeah. So underneath the drone bay there.
This
There's
thing?
one centerline tank underneath.
I think that is a centerline tank. So essentially, you could just take that centerline tank and essentially expand it. But then there'll be no way to get from front to back, so that's also an issue. But maybe you could just have 2 tanks, and then you walk through the 2 tanks to get to the back. Yeah, I could see that. I could literally see that as a variant that would work for this ship.
But the drones actually are your refueling tool. So instead of a pipe, you're filling them up and then going over and filling.
So it's just a transporter. It's a fuel transporter. That's it. Nothing else.
Yep.
And there's definitely a room for that because we have the Gemini that's just a fuel transporter, and that's the Starfarer that actually does the refining. And so, again, if you've got to make variants underneath the Starfarer, Algared, so what's that? 3?
Yep.
No, 2. No, 3 if you include a starter. So this would be like the medium, then you'd have a small, and then you'd have essentially like the Golem, which I guess is a tiny or a snub. So S321.
Wait, wait, did you just say that the Gemini wasn't a refueler?
It is a transporter. It is so the original, if you actually look in game, right? The Gemini is cheaper than the Starfarer, but when they brought out the Gemini, they said that you actually get to keep all the components that actually come when you buy it on the site. You get the Starfarer and all the additional components to make it a Gemini, right? So that is the best version because it's got all the armor and stuff like that, right? But if you buy them in game, the Starfarer is actually cheaper than the Gemini, and the Gemini is actually just a fuel transporter. It's a military fuel transporter. It can refuel ships, but it cannot refine the fuel because what it does is it takes the front nose scoop off and puts missiles on instead.
But they always said that the pipes and everything that would be used are still there.
Yeah.
But the G, as X is saying, is not a fuel gatherer and refiner. It's just a
transporter,
deliverer, and fuel transport and refuel, but it's not refining and making.
So taking that analogy, some of the fuel transport ships that will obviously come in the future, some of them will be refining and fuel transport. Well, again, look at the Expanse, right? The Expanse is clearly doing the refining, but it's not doing any fuel transporter. So you'd have to assume that there's another small ship roughly the same size as the Expanse, could be of this variant we're talking about, that just transports fuels and it doesn't do anything else. So you could see this teaming up with the Expanse to make fuel. Just like the Prospector does, as an example. But also, to fall into that family, do they make it a Miss Prospector with fuel pods? Just saying, but it makes itself. You know, so or is that a fuel collector? Does it come down and, you know how the Prospector used to drill down our grid? Does that now have a fuel scoop that's a geyser and it just pumps all the fuel out into fuel tanks?
Do your drones actually do fuel gathering? And
absolutely, there's multiple ways you can have it work. So yeah, do you have to base build a collection point on the geyser? And as you said, the drones go over and they're bringing the fuel pods back. Yeah, they can do it any way they want. But the point stands is what we're trying to show you here is breaking that gameplay from a bigger ship like the Starfarer up into smaller pieces, so everything has a unique thing to do. And I'm sure they've already designed that. We just haven't seen those ships yet because it's a priority. We'll put it this way: they haven't really gone back and even fixed the Starfarer to make it functional properly yet. Like, it doesn't work right now. But at some point, you know, they've essentially been taking gameplay they already have. You know, like we got the Salvation coming. They've talked about a large Orion salvager. They've done the Erasto, the Orion, probably just a little bit too big at the moment, but they've done the smaller ships like the Golem, the Prospector. They've done a Fortune. You get what I'm going, right? So I can't imagine they've tapped all of medical. The only real gameplay left to tap that they've already got is the refueling. So I have to imagine that might be on the cards for next year. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I think that's one of these things they'll be looking at. I wouldn't be surprised. Refueling is something, in a sense, they kind of nerfed the need for refueling by giving every ship except for the snub ships quantum drive and jump drives. So it's a priority thing, and I don't think they need it.
What do you think about that, Lemming? Do you think we might be seeing smaller refueling transporting ships sooner rather than later because it's a gameplay that's technically in, or no?
It matters when reputation comes in, because I really think that once reputation comes in and you can't stop everywhere to refuel, or you get really bad prices, or all of that stuff comes in, there's much more of a need for refueling at that point.
I start to think it might be a little bit after base building, like when repair comes in, when I really start to analyze it, right? Because repair and refueling are in that roadside assist bracket along with the rearming. And so if you look at repair, it's really just a different version of base building. Refueling is really just popping up the tank. There's not a lot of gameplay there. It's literally just an imaginary number that your ship is holding a thing. And then the rearming is kind of much the same. It's just taking it out of the cargo container. Are you taking it out of a liquid storage container, or are you taking it out of a box? It's the same type thing.
And that's basically what the Vulcan is. It's roadside assist, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Champion of the Grail says, do either of us think the Retribution will be flyable in Star Citizen?
Yeah, eventually.
I actually think the Retribution will get destroyed at some point.
Oh, really?
In the storyline, the Retribution will go down.
But then a hero will rise, and they will build the new version of it that'll be called the Old Man Hurston. It'll be full of fire Uwu girls that'll go blue splats on the side of hulls. But hey, it might take down the Karathi.
There you go. You heard it here first. Uwu girls have blue blood.
Yeah. Because they're full of Evercrack that you've pumped them full of. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
I keep telling you, Evercrack, the Uwu girls are what you get or see when you take too much Evercrack.
But you're hallucinating. I see what you do with those Uwu girls, so yeah.
But I don't think we'll see.
I'll have to talk to BK about the UU girls at some point. That'll be an interesting discussion to see how that goes.
Yeah. I certainly don't think we'll see the retribution. But I do think we will see a battle cruiser.
Yeah, I definitely think that'll be a thing. I've had a lot of people come to me and ask about the battle cruiser for Aegis Day.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm at that point now where we're like a week away. Yeah, and I don't want to run myself ragged trying to figure it out.
Now, picking up Champion of the Grail's question, do you think there'll be a battleship class above the battle cruiser? And I think that's what the retribution is. It's the battleship. It's a super heavy battleship of Star Citizen. Whether it survives, and I don't think it will. I think it's our one big. It's like if you look at the story of Wing Commander, it's the planet killer that they have that blows up the Korathi homeworld. It's that version of gameplay. But yeah,
Lemming, you still there?
Yeah, just one thing to add to the retribution answer. It'll be flyable, but it won't be pledgeable.
Yeah, like it's like a Bengal, like earning game. That was my thought. Having built it out, and even though they may destroy it, they've already got the model, so to not use it in Star Citizen just doesn't make sense to me. I totally agree. Storyline wise, it could be destroyed, but you got to remember Star Citizen is set 10 years after Squadron, so by then they may have built another one, and then there's multiple of them that you can build in game yourself. I don't know. That's just where my brain goes. So yeah, it's a wasted asset not to use it in SC.
I'm certainly not going to say never. I should say that because 10 years down the track.
Yeah, they could sit on it for 5 years just to delay the, give you something to earn. Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe
it being done. So
maybe it turns out that it wasn't destroyed; it was just damaged, and they found it in. What was that show? What was that show where they found the ship in the black hole and they Andromeda or something? Wasn't that? And they pull it out of the black hole like 500. It's been stuck in there for like 500 years, and they try to salvage it, but it's been like a second for the guy stuck in, like he's just stuck in the air for 500 years. To them, it felt like a second, but to everyone else, it's been 500 years. I think that's quite funny. Yeah, so I want to ask, we've got a Paladin to give away during AIE. Are you good if I do that as a competition on the Discord? So I will. Yeah, sure. I'll drop a link to the. So when we're talking about the AI videos, I'll do that. So I'll make you up some. The little giveaway bot we have. I'll do a little graphic. Yep. I'll talk to you about that later. But we'll get that organized. So yeah, just remember, guys, we're gonna have a Paladin to give away for AIE. I just got that. Giveaway. I thought it was a really good ship. I've been really enjoying the Paladin. Have you had a chance, Lemon?
Yeah. The only part of it is that there's one part on the hull that has like 1 hit point. Yep. So as soon as you take like a missile damage or anything, then
it's
the
a
middle
bug.
part of your ship goes red.
It's a bug. They'll fix it. It's no biggie.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it's fun to use.
Yeah.
You just don't know when you're about to blow up.
Yeah, that's the problem because you're always red at the moment. But yeah, they'll fix that.
Yeah.
But that big turret, it's amazing. I love it.
It's really fun to use.
Yeah. I want a full review. If someone can get this to clip this and send Mrs. Tomato, I want a full review of the Paladin turret. She's a big shoot everything type of person. So when I talk to Space during AIE. You'll be there for that first day. He's scheduled for the first day, so don't let me forget that. We've got to ask him to ask Mrs. I was talking to Algared, but you can come along too if you want, Lemmy. But ask her. Yeah, ask Mrs. Tomato for a full review of the Paladin turret.
Yeah, because I just wrote turret ask. I'll have no idea what that means in a week's time.
Just put Mrs. Tomato. Oh no! 2 more words.
No, it's the fact that my pencil ink is
my
pencil lead is blunt. So
you've been licking your pencil for too long, and you've got high off the lead. That's what that is. Yeah. All right. Mostly beef. If I keep asking questions, does that mean you can't end early? Pretty much. That is pretty much how it goes.
You are evil.
But we're only about 20 minutes away, and we've got what? 7 questions left. So yeah.
Yep.
Do you know, this is from Project Gnome 1961, it says, do you know that your stream is the highlight of our week? Yes, you can call me a kiss ass.
Well,
it is
shucks.
awesome. That's not, it's the highlight of our week. I really enjoy interacting with you guys, and I really enjoy catching up with Algared and Lemming and Grim and Piggles and whoever else comes along. I just really talking about this game that we all love.
Yeah, as we often say, if we didn't enjoy it, we wouldn't be doing it.
That's it.
So
yeah,
and we love talking shit. That's
actually, Lemming, can you hold around after the stream? There's something I actually do want to talk to get your opinion on too, if you're around.
Yep, I have food coming soon, so
okay.
Well, after that, sure.
Yeah, sure. Well, you just message me when you're free. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Michael Taylor, 4197 says, did the raft get a price increase because they increased its cargo capacity?
I actually have a take on this.
Please go ahead.
I've been waiting for this one.
Okay.
So the yellow salvager, at least in my mind, is 100% Argo now.
Yeah.
And it missed a gate. It was supposed to be an IA ship. The reason that I say that is because it's one of the ships that's on the main floor. Mm-hmm. And it's shockingly the only one there that isn't new, other than the Fortune, and the Fortune had its own issues because ship is...
Sorry, what was the ship that was meant to... So the Orange Salvager was meant to be it...
Yeah, so the Orange Salvager is based on the raft. It's a modified raft, and it missed a time gate, so it didn't make IAA.
The raft is a medium ship, and they said a large Orange Salvager.
I don't think the raft is a medium ship anymore. I think that its SCU has pushed it up into a large category.
The ship didn't physically change in size, my friend.
Okay.
Right, and I'll bring up Hangar Link.
It's an interesting
idea. But you could technically make the raft longer, so it's not a terrible idea. But if you look at the other mediums, right? The I'm writing medium. What is it? The mole. So the mole is apparently one of the. I don't know if it's changed, but back in the day, this was the smallest ship because of the landing gear that could fit on a medium. And I'm sure it changed now because the Apollo's grown, but the Apollo was the smallest large, and that at the time was what was it 43, Algared? 43?
Yeah, it was 43.
Right? Even though technically this was bigger, it was something to do with the landing gear of the mole that allowed it to land on a medium pad. It was so again, it gets a bit squiffy, right? But you would have to agree, out of these three ships, this is even smaller than the mole.
Yep.
So
yeah. So my tinfoil hat theory here is that the Orange Salvager missed a time gate, so they had to put something on the main floor. The other raft is what ended there, and what's going to cause the raft to go up in price is the Salvager that is Argo.
What? Why would one ship affect the other?
Because that's how they do price increases. Always.
You've got the Guardian Quiet, and the Guardian X. They're all at different price points. I don't understand.
I think the Guardian and the Guardian QI is the same price point. No,
there's a $10 difference in price.
Oh, I thought they were both.
And the Guardian X is like another $30 again.
Yeah.
I'm very confused by your statement. That said, though, looking at what you said, right? So let's just look at this as a concept, because it's actually not a bad thought experiment. Now, back in the day when we talked about, remember the whole idea about it extended out to a sky crown?
Yep.
If it still did that and they extended it and then turned it into you see where I'm going, right? So they know it's probably still got the tech to extend it out, so they just extend it out and literally make it a longer raft. Then it becomes a large. I actually think your idea has merit, to be honest with you, Lemming.
And we know that they've already got that telescoping tech in. It works for docking on stations, but it also, more importantly, works on the hull series.
Exactly.
And it would also work for a refueler as well, because it's got that industrial look. So if you just put big fuel canisters under it, same.
So
yeah,
I don't.
that was my thought.
I think that might have some idea, some merit. Keep that. That's not a terrible thought that you've had there, right? I just think the price thing is not right, because again, if you physically just expand the ship, you add some different greebling on it to make it look different enough, it's almost like a Freelancer or Freelancer Max is what he's essentially doing, right? But there will be a price difference, right? So I think you've got some merit there, man. Just hold on to that thought. I would run with that. I think you've made me think of it differently. I think Algared, I think you're on the same page. That's got some fruit there, man.
And I mean, if they made it that it was that size, but it could telescope out.
Yeah,
take the
Yeah, well, it wouldn't open and close anymore. It would just be out and be longer. So it'd be like a longer raft.
Yep, but they could make it, but loaded it like a hull C.
Yeah,
so they can still keep that idea because they've got that tech.
A fat raft, or what would you call it? A log or something? What's a bigger raft? It's a bigger raft.
The lumberjack.
The log. Log, like. Isn't it a downgrade though? Because a raft is like multiple logs tied together, so a log is just a smaller one.
It'd be a dinghy.
The Argo log, that'd be so good. The barge, there we go. The Argo barge, that would work too. The dinghy, That's an Aussie thing, I think, though.
Yeah.
The tug, but you get our point though, right? I think he's got some. That's a good thought there. I don't know. Don't let that go. Don't forget that, Lemming, because I know I will. But I think. Yeah, you've got a really good idea.
When it comes out, you can say, "I told you so."
Yeah, you can.
100%. So yeah.
All right.
Luckblade.
So along those same lines.
Yeah.
I also think that a MISC ship missed IAE around the size of the Fortune. I wonder what that could have been.
What around the size of a Fortune?
Yeah, so on the main floor, there's currently a raft, and then there's that screenshot that I sent you this week.
So you're thinking because there's two ships there, but if you go back to Invictus, they had other ships there as filler as well. I think they're just filler. Okay. I think they just went, we have room. What's a ship that we can put here? And the other thing that I noticed, and Algared, you tell me if you think it's different, they all seem to be ships that didn't sell well. Right.
Yeah.
So for example, they either sold really, really well, like they were a starter ship. So let's look at the two Aegis ones. They had the Avenger, and then they had the other ship was the Peregrine. Right. And I think you'd say out of the Saber variants, that was probably the worst one. Right. The Peregrine didn't sell very well. I don't know, but to me, it seemed like a very, very, very expensive racing ship compared to the Firebird. And the Firebird was meta when it came out. Like I saw them everywhere. So to me, and then you go look around at some of the other ships that were around there, Algared, they were either sold really, really well, so they knew that they were going to sell well, or they hadn't sold well enough. And that was just the pattern that I saw. There didn't seem to be many things in the middle ground. They were all one extreme or the other. So it looked like it was laid out by someone at marketing, basically. So, yeah. Anything you want to add to that, Algared, or not? Or the next one?
Nope. Luckblade.
Yep. Got 5 questions.
How do you feel about the weapon size inflation on ships?
It's just numbers. You can just change numbers, can't you? So it doesn't really matter too much.
I'd rather see them change numbers for what the weapon can do rather than upgunning and increasing the size of weapons all over the place. On some ships it makes them look dicky. But but at the end of the day, it's just numbers. So
that's it.
You could keep, rather than increasing the size of, say, a Perseus to size 8, you could just increase the damage of all size 7 guns. Bang, done.
I know Bops is going to hate me for saying this, but like you could also make different classes of ships do different things. So like a size 5 gun on a fighter is different than a size 5 gun on the Connie.
Look, Algared, we've got 69 viewers on Twitch. Nice.
Oh.
Right. Anyway.
69, huh?
Yeah. Nice. Anyway. I'm just looking for someone to stream if you want to do the next question. Sorry.
So Mostly Beef says, do you think they'll ever have CCUs to large ships like the Kraken or Pioneer?
No, they're under $1,000. There's US money laundering laws, isn't there? I don't remember.
Something like that. It'd be nice, but I don't think so.
Oh, it'd be awesome because you could go. Well, I guess they do technically have conversion kits. That's technically, I guess, like a CCU.
A conversion kit, I suppose, is a CCU from a P to a K to a
yeah. So you can change. So I think the restriction is you can. It's the same ship, so to speak, but an upgrade of the same ship. So it's not. I wouldn't say never. Never. But that's definitely skirting the issue or the legality right there is
how we'd see it.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
So Heaven says, if CRG did a weapons kit for the Polaris and Perseus, what would you like to see in it? And or a conversion kit. So weapon kit or conversion kit, what would you like to see?
I think if they did the Polaris, it would have to kind of lose the torpedoes, but gain more guns and armor. So I don't know what you'd call it, but I don't know, the Armadillo
Perseus
or something.
Plus.
No, well, not the Perseus. I said the Polaris.
Yeah.
So
you call it the Perseus Plus. I don't know. You take the torpedoes off and give it bigger guns.
Polaris,
what are you doing?
Or the Polaris Perseus. No, I didn't say bigger guns. I said more guns.
Yeah.
So you know, it's already got a lot of guns all over it. I'd be, you know, the turret where the turrets are, torpedoes are, they kind of come out and maybe you put 2 more bigger guns in. You know, do you lose the hangar and then you can you imagine that, like it's a size 12 and it just like the doors open and it comes out and it's like boom.
Yeah, after 5 shots the ship falls apart.
The ship falls apart. So yeah, maybe you lose the hangar and it just becomes more like a gunship. That could be kind of cool. Maybe it's got a huge beam weapon on it, Algared, like it's a massive beam turret. You know? I don't know. The Perseus, maybe something that kind of goes the other way. Instead of the bigger guns, it's more like quad turrets, but they drop down to like size 6s or something like that. You know, maybe the remote turrets actually turn into turrets, but that would require some structural indoor work. So I just don't see them kind of doing that because of the difficulty. But maybe you just upsize the guns and still leave them as remote turrets. Yeah, just essentially turn them into more gunships, I guess. That's the only thing I can really think of. You know, the Polaris, unfortunately, when you remove the torpedoes, it has to have more armor on it. It just has to, or it's just not going to work. Especially to take on other capital ships. It's maybe you could get around without doing it with armor, but it's like a what's that shield on the Prowler and the Defender? The one off
the phalanx shield.
Yeah, that. So someone that's a dedicated shield operator that's literally looking for incomings and essentially grabbing them with the shield.
Shoving the hard the hard shield across.
So like a Polaris and hey Google, what's a star constellation of a warrior that used a shield?
According to the Free Encyclopedia, in Greek mythology, Orion was a giant huntsman whom Zeus among the stars.
There you go.
The constellation
The Polaris, Orion, or Zeus, or perhaps Artemis. There you go. The RSI Artemis. Or as a variant, Polaris Artemis. There you go.
Someone was also saying an E-War Perseus. That was kidding, man.
An E-War Polaris would work though.
E-War Perseus, E-War Polaris.
Because down where the torpedoes are, like when that comes out, you could put like computer stations in there. That's actually not a bad idea. I actually like that more than my own idea. I like that better than my own. So yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Artemis had a bolt as a hunter. Well, technically true, but Artemis is just a cool name too. So, well, it does have more guns, so you're losing the torpedoes and getting more guns. So that kind of goes to the bow as well. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure they'll come up with a better name. Look, they don't pay me the big bucks to make up ship idea and names. I just get to talk about the cool shit that they make. Yeah, good.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure if me and you sat down and actually made one of these ships, would probably come out with a cool idea like them, but they're doing it as a full-time job. Like, I think we'd have to sit down for like a week to pull off half of something decent as them. But yeah.
Yep. Canalist wants to know if Gary Oldman Hurston can do a sales pitch for attritions and why they are the GOAT of all ship weapons.
We have talked for a few years, haven't we, Algared, about, you know, those ads they do before CitizenCon? We've talked for a few years about doing an old man Algared car salesman pitch type shit. We've just never, ever... It's just another thing we've got to organise and another thing. But we have talked about it a few times. So...
Now, I'll just say that everyone should just buy attritions because attritions are the best ship weapons in the verse. They're made by Hurston, and we don't cut back on quality. There you go.
Yeah, we'd have to give Old Man Hurston a full head of hair though, a walking cane, and then we'd have to go down to the op shop, and you know those old 1960s style Hessian. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like in yellow and red and black. It looks so good if we can put it off.
You know what Algared always says.
Yeah.
God only made so many perfect heads, and the rest he put hair on.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. So he's Old Man Hurston, not Algared. And then we'd have to get you like little birdie beetle glasses to pull it off. I reckon we could make you look really good if we dressed you up. It'd be funny as.
I've got to admit, Luck Blade. There is a the Colonel from KFC has been memed into. Bit like Algared.
That's actually on Twitch, I think, somewhere. Give me a second. It might actually be one of the emojis that we have.
Well, I think that was also the Endeavour. What did Grim call it? The Endeavour what?
I don't remember.
The Endeavour version he put with.
I think I turned it. I might have turned it off, Algared. Hang on, I've got it here somewhere in a folder. I'll just open it up.
But yeah, Old Man Hurston is based on dang it, I always forget his name.
Yeah, I know you've said it. Was it Jerry? Jerry Clarkson? I don't know. You said someone.
No.
I gotta run, but have a good stream, y'all.
Yep, see you in a bit.
Yep. But nice old American actor did Mr. Dang it, I forgot his name.
Yep.
But he's taken as a meme you're
not gonna be able to see it.
American actor who I quite like, and I've just gone blank on his name.
Hold on, Jax. Hold on. I need to scroll the mouse wheel to make it big. Right. This is gonna look terrible because it's a PNG and it comes up on a white grey background. But if you can kind of squint your eyes, you can see that it was. I took the Colonel Sanders, put glasses on it, and I had to take the hair off, and then I recolored the bow tie, and it looks like Algared. Yeah. All right. Oh, Jax, you are very stage 1 clinger today, aren't you? Right. We got another first time chatter there.
Jimmy Stewart.
Hang on. Oh, Jimmy Stewart. That's the one. Yep. BLT
Jimmy
Plays says, question. I have a bit of an unpopular opinion and I want your input. I strongly believe that NPC crew is truly terrible idea for balance, not because of cap ships being reduced to daily drivers, but for what it will do in fleet balance. Do you think CIG may cancel plan NPC crew if they can't figure out balance, or are they forced into a corner? No, I think it will be quite balanced. I'm not worried about that. Me and Algared have talked many times about how NPCs can work, and it is very easy to fake the gameplay that NPCs do. And again, the way you balance it is it comes down to how much people pay for it. You've got to pay for your crew.
Yep.
It's the same as paying a real player. So, but I don't think they'll ever be quite as effective. Like,
no.
The way we looked at it is, we know there's going to be a player rating system in game, right? So, say you've hired an NPC and they're a 3-star NPC. You can look at the entire player base that are ranked at 3 stars. You can even go even further and go level 3 stars in this system. You can also add they have personalities for AI, so he
Yep.
may get scared at certain things and stuff like that, and that changes the outlier and puts a modifier on the timer. But if it basically goes, this task that you're getting this NPC to do, most players that are rated at this and from this system, all those other category type things, they do it from somewhere between 2 minutes to 2.5 minutes. It essentially rolls the dice and goes 2 minutes and 22 seconds. And then all it is just a bar. It just
sitting there doing it. And
why would you give a fuck about what the NPC is doing as long as he's doing what you need him to do? You don't need him to physically do it. It just plays an animation of him doing it, and it's literally just a timer that counts down till it's done.
And you look in the star bases of it, the cities at the moment, or the space stations. You got NPCs going around with their multi-tool and standing at a location.
Yep.
Doing the animation of repair.
That's it. And it can all be faked. Because the player's not playing it, you can get away with it. So literally it's just essentially, because in the background, isn't it really just when we're doing it, we're doing the animation, but it literally just goes from an off state to an on state or whatever. It's a 0 to 1. That's what binary is. Yep. So it's literally just that. It's just that from our perspective, we know it's an NPC, but it looks like a human because it's going through the motions and it's doing all that type of shit. So it's not like it, like people seem to be thinking it, you have to code this to play the game like I'm playing it. No, you fake it.
Yep.
That's the difference. And then you take that all into account when you're talking about balanced BLT is literally as it just comes back to testing it.
Yeah.
There's going to be no difference between an NPC and a human crew, basically, at the end of the day.
Yep.
And it'll come down to the cost. I think you're not going to be able to maintain that cost if you're a single player. You're just not going to be able to maintain it. No, it's too expensive.
You're not going to be able to. A single player is not going to be able to maintain a cost of 50 million crew. But Symbol asked the question: the more game packages you have, the more NPCs you own, right? Is that still a thing? That's something CIG said. They haven't changed. I haven't heard anything different than that.
And they've told us if it doesn't,
it's still a thing.
Yeah, and they've told us if it doesn't change, then it's exactly the same. So yeah.
So we've got to stick with that. But I see not that you'll be having all with just equips a Idris with 50 million NPCs running the ship. Now they might do that, but then other factors you've got to consider is life support. So if you've got 100 crew on a ship and you're trying to put 100 NPCs on the ship's life support's going to struggle. So you're not going to be doing that. If you're putting NPCs on the ship, you're taking places for players. I actually think the best balance is going to be where you've got your players coming on and bringing and controlling 3 or 4 NPCs. So you've got an engineer he's got NPCs that are doing engineering and he's directing them and other things. Yeah, but we've got to wait and see because we don't have them yet.
All right. So, last question, is it? Or
I think it is the last question because we've done that one.
Yeah.
Yep. So the last question is, why do you think, this is from Luck Blade, he says, why do you think they're holding the glaive, blade, and scythe visual reworks until after Squadron? Because it look cool.
Yeah, and they kind of want to leave it as a surprise, but again, they've ruined everything else. Like, I'm going to be honest, I will not be surprised when they sell those. In fact, I'm almost expecting them to sell them at this sale. I really am.
I would love for CIG to bring out an Asperia scythe. Like Asperia already are building the glaive and the blade and other ships, and they're employed by the Navy to build ships for their aggressor squadrons.
Yeah.
So there should be an Asperia scythe. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. It'll also
it'll also kill
a lot of the black market. Yeah.
That obscene price of the glaive, which is the scythe, which is valued at more than an Idris or a javelin. That's insane.
Yeah, and it's literally worse than a Hornet.
Yeah.
When it flies, so it's just kind of crazy. All right, so we're going to be raiding on Twitch today, Nonstop Bots. He's currently playing some little game while he's waiting for the PTU to download, which I think is pretty funny in the background. So he's about to just get into the PTU as you guys are going to raid. Yeah, go over there and ask him your thoughts about the stuff that the Buccaneer. What he thinks about a Buccaneer
and
rework, because we found some stuff in the files that points to their doing some testing with the Buccaneer. And we wanted to share that with him, but he didn't come on. So
so House Slimmest, ask him why he didn't join us when he was asked to.
Tell him he's gonna have to sit in the corner. And he owes Algared an apology and a new vest because Algared cried all over it.
That's right.
So yeah,
Indeed.
Tell him he owes Algared a new vest. So yeah. All right. So we'll start the raid on that one. Is there anything you want to add, Algared, before we kind of
no
head off?
Enjoy Twitch.
Yeah.
Enjoy his stream. Take care. Be well.
All right. Twitch, say goodbye to YouTube. YouTube, say goodbye to Twitch. Remember, we'll be listening in. Have a good week, everyone. And we'll see you next week for AIE. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And they're gone. Right now we can talk about them. What a bunch of assholes. Right. Anyway.
Yes. They are a bit of a worry.
All right. Here we go. Let's have a listen.
You kidding me? Are you kidding me? Come on, kill me. I'm here. Inforunners, you're just in time.
Yep.
You better shout them out, you sons of bitches.
With 60 cuties.
Hello, Inforunners. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, guys. All my guys already know this, but in case you didn't know this, Inforunners are the best, the optimum, the premium YouTube and Twitch streaming.
I always hate this
channel. Okay.
I get like a flush of red when he talks like that. I was like, no, we're just you guys that talk about the game.
Huge fan. We're just other fans who like the game.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it. Alrighty then. I hope you guys had a good week. We'll leave Bops to do his thing. I'll go annoy him later. Yeah. So we're gonna do a show this week, 2 hour, don't we? Oh shit, I went to the wrong channel. Thanks for Piggles for joining us and then falling asleep. That was pretty funny. Just say goodbye at all. Yeah.
It would have been nice to have people be more active and.
Well, you got to remember,
the problem when we get some of our other guys who aren't used to being on.
It was midnight when we started, though, right? So right now it would be 3 a.m. for him. So he's just passed out.
Fallen asleep.
It's totally fine. So yeah, we'll probably do an episode. We're definitely doing an episode this weekend. I just got to have something to do, as usual. We do it by the seat of our pants.
There's a fix my fleet. Not a fix my fleet. Can we fix it or? Deep dive we need to do.
Well, believe it or not, I actually had an org that I've been talking to about the Fix My Org too. They should be reaching out to you because I said you've got to talk to Algared. That's his job. When there's no Fix My Fleets, when there's no Fix My Fleets, he's the man you can complain to because that's one of the few things I can delegate to Algared, and he has to organize it. That's his job.
I've got no messages from people saying, "Hey, I want to do a Fix My Fleet."
I will tell him.
It's a matter of trying to get the right time that suits for us.
I think I told him to reach out to you after AIE because we'll probably do it Sunday. So yeah, that was my fault. But yeah, we'll get a show done, and you guys have a great weekend, and we'll get one out to you early in the week.
And I know Lemming does occasionally pop people and say, "Hey, this looks interesting," but then getting times that suit both of us, and the last one you did was in the middle of exams and marking and reports.
And sometimes they don't want to do shows and stuff like that. So it's got to line up. That's the problem.
Yeah, all the stars have to align, which can be hard.
All right, with that then, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Thank you everyone that went the extra mile on Patreon at the end of the video.
Indeed.
He's been Old Man Hurston.
He's been Execute. And we're out of here. Oh, and the voice in the void at the moment is Lemming.
No, Lemming went. He left. He went and got food.
Oh well, he's still in the recording.
You're having senior moments this week.
Yeah, that's right. I'm seeing him in the recording.
All right, we're doing an eye test and a senior. All right, I'll see you, citizens. We're gonna have to talk about this. You're getting into. I'm worried about you.
Now you start picking on Algared.
You put that voice on. That voice does not help you.
Harsh. That's all I'll say. Picking an old man hurts.